Jared Fernandez is the key in the middle. There'll be a number of freshmen play today, but the middle linebacker having to mirror what's going on with the quarterback, potentially take away the B-back as well. They'll have to have young players step up all over the field.
All right, Georgia Tech won the toss and elected to defer. State will get the ball first. And that's by design, I guarantee you. Harrison Butker to kick off. Matt Days, Malcolm Means. He'll be deep for NC State. This will be taken a yard deep. Nichols hit hard before he gets to the 20. Tackle made there by Lawrence Austin. Well, here's the starting lineup brought to you by Food Lion.
Tyson Chandler starting his 34th game on the offensive line. Shadrack Thornton, that downhill runner, physical. Bo Hines is the outlet for Jacoby Brissett. He leads his team in receiving. The freshman has been outstanding this year.
First down and 10, just short of the 20. They'll use a lot of running backs today. Tony Creasy, the creator. Matt Days, the finesser. And Shadrack Thornton, the punisher. Nothing there. That's Matt Days. Loses a yard.
When you look at this Food Lion starting lineup for Georgia Tech, their defense, Keyshawn Freeman has presented an outside rush for him. Jamal Golden leads his team in interceptions in the back end at safety. But it's P.J. Davis, the diminutive linebacker at 5'11", 215, that flows sideline to sideline. He leads the Jackets in tackles.
What better way to spend a Saturday afternoon? NC State and Georgia Tech. Second down, flea flicker. Back to Brissett, looks deep, has a man, and overthrows him. Underwood was wide open.
Boy, Tim, this has plagued this NC State offense. We showed you Jacoby Brissett's numbers, 17 touchdowns, just 3 interceptions, but it's the big play opportunities they've missed on. A little throwback special here. He's got Brian Underwood wide open, and he just overthrows him, very similar to last week against Syracuse. He had Underwood, the speed guy, get in behind the secondary, and he missed him.
See the third down conversions for NC State, only 43%. They need 11 here. And the out pattern, no flags. It was intended for Bo Hines, the freshman, but the linebacker Neely was right there.
Yeah, and how about Quayshawn Neely for the Yellow Jackets, able to play the slot receiver there. Pretty good coverage and pretty good pressure up front on Jacoby Brissett.
So Will Bowman comes on to punt it away. He averages 47 yards a punt. Jamal Golden will be standing back at its 34. So not the way the Wolfpack wanted to start. They want to eat up the clock, keep that time of possession today offensively. This is a knuckleball. Golden takes it on the run. Good coverage by NC State. Not much of a hang time and only a 38-yard punt. But Vincent got there in a hurry and made the tackle. Take a look at the Food Line starting lineups for Georgia Tech.
Shaquille Mason up front, All-ACC performer. Broderick Snoddy will fill in as one of the A-backs. He's had an outstanding last couple of weeks. DeAndre Smelter is a big-time player on the outside. Former baseball player. He's been tremendous in their deep passing attack. He's a next-level guy.
Georgia Tech gets great field position to start their first series. Justin Thomas, the quarterback. Quick out, flanker screen. Smelter. And he picks up a handful.
When we look at this NC State defense brought to you by Food Lion, Thomas Teal is important up front. Arius Moore, Josh Jones, the two freshmen, obviously are going to have to play their role, but go back to Teal, the defensive lineman. They have to win the line of scrimmage today, Tim. We did that. We did Georgia Tech against Duke a few weeks ago. It was Duke's defensive line that dictated the day. Teal will have to be that guy.
That wasn't even a flanker screen on the first play. They just wanted to create space, get their guy one-on-one. Second down and 4. Days. Couple of tough yards there up the middle. Freshman linebackers closing quickly. A pickup of 3.
Well, for Georgia Tech offensively, it's about staying on time with the change. Paul Johnson wants positive plays. All coaches do want positive plays on each and every down. But it's incremental with this offense, and the next thing you know, they have an explosion play. As long as you stay on schedule, Paul likes these third and shorts. They're one of the best in the country at converting on third down at 58%.
They need one. Around the corner goes Zenon. He's got the first down and a whole lot more inside the 35-yard line. Mark it at the 34. Pickup of 13. Finally run out of bounds by Tocho.
Yeah, good read by Justin Thomas. He realizes North Carolina State's going to close the middle down, so he gets the ball to the outside to Zenon. And they're so unselfish on the outside. Smelter, we talked about his ability to catch the ball. How about his ability to block on the outside at 6'3", 220 to get Tony Zenon down the sideline?
So Zenon has the biggest play of the ball game so far. First down and 10 at the 34 for Tech. Thomas pitches it out late. Zenon again gets 4.
A good job by NC State that time. Art Norman, defensive end, does a good job of creating an issue for Justin Thomas. Watch 95 right here, going to come upfield and create the issue. Justin Thomas trying to make a decision. Art Norman really messes up the look. Good presence of mind that time by Thomas to get the ball to Zenon so Zenon could get something positive on the play. But Art Norman, nice play on the edge.
NC State had its best game against the run last week, holding Syracuse to 38 yards on 37 carries. But right now, they're giving ground, and Thomas runs out of bounds. Chased out by T.Y. McGill, who's back in the lineup today.
Tim, we talked about the defensive line and their ability to create issues, and that time T.Y. McGill, big senior defensive tackle, number 75, got penetration, and that's what we saw a few weeks ago when Duke was able to disrupt this offense. And now when you start being behind the chains, 3rd and 10 is not where Paul Johnson wants to be.
A loss of 3 on that one, partner. Georgia Tech needs almost 10.
One-on-one right up here with Smelter.
Play clock at 2. Big hole right side, Days. He's got the first down. St. John Days. He was a running quarterback in high school, and he's moved to that position with Lasky out, and he's playing well.
Oh, I give Paul Johnson a ton of credit. There's not a lot of defenders to the Georgia Tech right side. Paul gets a check from Justin Thomas into the option play into the boundary. And that time Justin saw it, handed the ball off to St. John Days, who hit it upfield for the first down.
Needed 10, picked up 18. This is Thomas on the keeper left side with a lot of room. Inside the 10, inside the 5. Touchdown, Georgia Tech. Justin Thomas
carries them all into the end zone for Georgia Tech.
16 yards, and it didn't take long.
Complete key breaker. It looks like it's going to be optioned into the boundary. Pull the big offensive lineman out in front, Aaron Joe, to get in front of Justin Thomas, and Thomas essentially runs a naked bootleg out the backside. Showed option into the boundary, came backside with Joe leading. Excellent speed by Justin Thomas.
Harrison Butker comes on for the extra point. And he splits the sticks, and it's 7-0 Georgia Tech. Justin Thomas put his imprint on this game in a hurry. 7-0 Yellow Jackets. Three big running plays on that last drive by Georgia Tech. Zenon 13 yards, Days had 18, and then Thomas with a 16-yard touchdown run.
10 games, Georgia Tech has opened the game with 6 touchdowns and 2 field goals. So there's 6 touchdowns there on the opening drive of the game.
This kick is deep. Nichols watches it go through the end zone. Let's go back and look at that touchdown play again, Arch.
Tim, really cool design here. They're going to show option this direction, and they're going to pull the 2 big eaters. Joe and Mason are going to get out in front. Show option in the boundary, pull the big guys out in front. That's 650 pounds of man coming at you, and you slip your speedy quarterback in behind it. And Justin Thomas shoves it in the end zone. 7 plays, 56 yards. Nice job of mixed in a couple, the one pass play, 6 rushing plays on the drive, but an excellent job of decision making by Justin Thomas.
Let's see if NC State can answer on 1st down and 10. Brissett throws the quick out, has it. It'll be close to the 1st down. Jonathan Alston made the catch. And the sophomore runs out of bounds after a gain of 11. That'll move the chains.
Good job by Jacoby Brissett to put the ball on Alston. We saw on film where he rushed that a little bit and missed him. He had the corner way off, made a good accurate throw.
Brissett, quarterback draw. Breaks a tackle, and he's across the 40 to the 44-yard line. Jacoby Brissett. He's run it 81 times for over 400 yards so far this year.
Thank you. Look down at Georgia Tech. It looks like players still down for Tech. Keyshawn Freeman, the freshman, Hogansville, Georgia, Callaway High School. He's been really good, Tim.
Boy.
Had an outstanding day a week ago. 5 tackles, a sack, a forced fumble. Ill afford lose the freshman. 42 right there in the middle of your screen. Pursuing. Looks like he just had Sean Green fell on top of him. 97. Green going to come in. Maybe a leg whip right there.
That's 280 pounds falling on the 236th defensive player of the week.
Yeah, I think that's just a matter of Green falling. I think he's going to be fine.
Let's take a look at our Carolina Ford keys to the game, Arch.
Well, for Georgia Tech has come out, sting them quick. They did that. Opening drive, score. They also want big plays, quick, explosive type plays. And for North Carolina State, what they did last week to strengthen the pack, play solid defensively, take care of the football, put some points on the board, and do something special on special teams. The strength in the entire team concept.
Tyler Stargell comes in for Freeman. It's Gotsis, Green, Gamble, and Stargell on that defensive line now for Tech. This is Days, tap dances his way across the 45-yard line to the 46. He'll be just short of the 1st down.
They got to get push in that interior part of the offensive line to give Days, who has the ability to cut back, a little room. Now Georgia Tech does a good job at staying at home with the linebackers, and they get Days on the ground to force the 3rd and short situation.
Good job by big old 97, Sean Green. Third down and less than a yard. It'll be close to the 1st down depending on the mark. Matt Days hit by Gamble almost immediately.
And you'll also see Isaiah Johnson, the free safety, number 1, going to be right in the middle of the hole as well. But a good gang tackle by Georgia Tech, but enough push up there and good hard running by NC State to move the chains.
He needed 1.5. He got 2. Wolfpack shows trips. 3 receivers to the bottom of the screen. Hines, Cherry, and Alston. Brissett throws over the top and dropped. Oh, that ball was feathered in there nicely to the freshman Bo Hines, and he couldn't hold on.
Well, it was a well-thrown ball and better coverage by Isaiah Johnson, number 1. Neely coming in the quarterback space. Johnson going to get it the last moment with the right hand, and the freshman Hines, the leading receiver for NC State, can't squeeze it.
Wow.
An interesting decision there for Jacoby Brissett there on 1st down. He had a guy open in the flat, and he turned it down to take the bigger throw.
Bo Hines had 28 straight receptions without a drop, and then that. Here's a quick pass. This is to Hines. He makes up for it. He's close to a 1st down for NC State.
Well, you're a hard scorer. You're going to call that a drop? Pretty good play by Isaiah Johnson. Now you can call that a drop.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That ball was feathered in there nicely by the quarterback, and you a quarterback of all people.
Yeah, it was a good throw.
Here's Brissett on the quarterback draw, and he's got lots of room. Brissett's big, and he's down to the 21-yard line, and a flag comes in for a late hit by Jamal Golden, the safety. It was low, and it was late out of bounds.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 4 defense. Penalty is half the distance to the ball. 1st down.
Man coverage across the board. Everybody running. Nobody's got the quarterback. It's quarterback draw. Look, there's no Georgia Tech defenders available. They're all running off with receivers. Brissett knows that, gets up the field, and then, of course, the unnecessary hit by Golden as Brissett's getting out of bounds.
Not much, but definitely out of bounds.
Boy, nice play call there by Matt Canada. Caught Georgia Tech in man coverage and did a great job of getting up the field. And NC State has been much better in the red zone than they were a year ago, nearing 70% at pushing it in the end zone.
First down, NC State.
There's Greenidge, the tight end. Great matchup.
Tech is offsides. This is a free play into the corner. Out of bounds. No catch. Greenidge had the ball but couldn't get a foot down. But it looked like Georgia Tech jumped.
They flexed Greenidge to the outside, and he was one-on-one, and good catch, just couldn't get the foot down. Boy, good high throw for Brissett. He realized he had Greenidge at 6'6", outstanding pass receiving tight end. The sophomore got isolated one-on-one, but just could not get the left foot on the ground.
I'm going to tell you, Arch, that when I saw the replay, it almost looked like he got that foot down. When I watched it live, I didn't think so. But watch his foot, and you only need one.
Yeah, the foot just never comes down. The foot just never comes down. He just, and that situational awareness there, the big fella's got to get that toe down to the ground. See how the foot elevates, never comes to the ground?
Yep.
I mean, just an outstanding catch by Greenidge, no question about it. But he just couldn't get that left foot down. That's that experience of kind of dead-legging it and dragging that leg on the ground to try to get it in the end zone.
So after the penalty against Georgia Tech for being offsides in the neutral zone, that'll move it down to the 5-yard line. It'll be first and goal at the 5 once this review is settled. And it shouldn't take too long.
Further review, the call on the field stands.
Dennis Hennigan is our referee today. Lets us know the call stands. He was out of bounds.
Well, now you're second down. This is tight down in this area. Now you'd like to try to incrementally get the football. I think you probably go back to the run game or the short passing game. Let's see who's in the game, because the running back sometimes will dictate what happens. If Matt Days is in the game, he's an outstanding receiver, which he is. He does a great job of slipping out of the backfield on little angle routes and create an opportunity one-on-one against the linebackers.
So they move the ball down by the 5.
Yeah, this is run all the way here. Though.
8th play of the drive. Brissett gives it. Days. Touchdown, NC State. Flag on the play.
Well,
this may come back for holding.
I think Big Tyson Chandler may have tackled Patrick Gamble on the run.
Number 60, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Schooley. Yeah, it was Schooley, the center, working against, I think, Adam Gostis in the middle. Let's take a look in the middle. Schooley going to come off the football, number 60. That's kind of a hard one. I mean, that's one where Sean Green kind of got up underneath Schooley's pads. I didn't see him grab him, just kind of had the arms laying dead against him. I think you could probably call that virtually every play in a run game.
So now it's first and goal from the 16. It changes things dramatically. Brissett throws to the corner. Oh, what a catch! Did he hold on? Bo Hines in the end zone. They say it's incomplete.
Working against the freshman Lawrence Austin. Austin never found the football. And it's been waved out. Hines is going to run the wheel. Nice little pick there on Austin. And did he control it all the way to the ground?
Wow. They ought to look at this one.
Well,
Dick Doran says he caught it.
He certainly caught the football unless something happened.
Great pass. The play is under further review.
Yeah, he catches the ball in the air, but as he comes to the ground, does Hines maintain possession of the football as Lawrence Austin is wrestling with the ball? He's got it there. It has to maintain through the ground. And there the nose comes out. That's a pretty good call by the official now. That's a tough one. That's a bang-bang play to call that. The official right on the play. You see him standing there in the corner of the end zone, and he saw the nose of the football hit the ground. That's a good call. Watch for the nose of the football. He's got it there, but he's got to maintain it through the catch, through the ground. There it is, right there. Nose of the football out, right there. Does not maintain the catch.
You can't call that a drop. That was a great effort. Almost had it, well defended to knock it loose.
Now, see, as a quarterback, that was for a touchdown. I'd have called that a drop.
I knew you were. We're kind of on the opposite page today.
Kind of a tough break there for Coach Dorn. He gets a really good running play and kind of a sketchy call on holding where Days scores. And then this play that's a kind of a 50-50 ball.
After further review, the call on the field stands.
That's a good call. I thought the officials got that right. That was, you could see the nose of the football hit the ground. Man, a good job by the freshman Lawrence Austin to not give up on the play, because he never really saw the football until Hines elevated to make the catch, and he did a good job of raking at it and getting it out.
It'll be second goal from the 16. Jerry goes way up top. Brissett being chased out of the pocket's got a little bit of room. Now he's got a block inside the 5. Touchdown, Jacoby Brissett, NC State. 15 yards.
You talk about a guy that wants to win the football game. Watch this. This is an individual effort. He gets great pass rush. He makes 2 Georgia Tech defenders miss, and I'm getting in the end zone. How about that? He elevated at about the 3-yard line and went over the top. Jacoby Brissett showing some leadership right there as he shoves it in the end zone.
Nicholas Sadie for the extra point. And it's blocked. And it's a 1-point game. How about that? Sean Green got a hand on it, but Jacoby Brissett puts an exclamation point on the drive and pulls the Wolfpack within 1.
Go Pack!
Homecoming at NC State this weekend, and Wolfpack fans are enjoying Bojangles chicken. It's bow time to Bojangles. Tailgate everything with a big bow box filled with Bojangles chicken, biscuits, fixin', and tea. We certainly had lunch yesterday and today with Bojangles. Remember, it's always bow time when you're tailgating.
Always good food there. How about Jacoby Brissett finding a way to get the ball in the end zone? Thought he had a touchdown pass, thought he had a touchdown run from Days. He found a way to get it in the end zone. Good job by Jacoby Brissett to finish a really good drive. 9 plays, 75 yards to put it in the end zone.
And Brissett big in that drive. He accounted for a lot of them.
It's a very dangerous returner now for Georgia Tech. Jamal Golden, number 2 in the ACC in kickoff returns.
Golden will take it about a yard deep. No, right at the goal line. Here comes Golden. Looking for an alley. Finds an alley and crosses the 25-yard line. Let's go back to Charlotte. Check in with the studio guys. Here's Tom and Tommy.
Tim, time for a Hyundai update. Duke at Syracuse. Ross Martin in the first quarter. 27 yards for the field goal. 3-0 Duke. Syracuse just kicked a field goal of its own. 3-3 at the Dome.
That's a huge game for Duke. Duke in complete control of the Coastal Division. Although, what a wild division this has been all year. You know, they are still in a situation where you could have 7 teams tied in the Coastal at the end of the season.
Well, not just a big game for Duke, a big game for Georgia Tech and a number of teams that are kind of keeping an eye on what's going on in New York.
Here's a handoff on the right side to Days. He makes a hole that wasn't there and creates a first down. Pickup of 12. Tackle made by Moore. Let's go down to Rachel. What do you have, Rachel?
Yeah, guys, I heard defensive line coach, NC State defensive line coach Ryan Nielsen tell his group, attack his butt. Well, he didn't use that word. And he was talking about Justin Thomas. He said, make them pitch the ball. On that touchdown drive, in 3rd and long, we had him. You've got to make those plays and get off the field.
Yeah, this is a young team. They're teaching and coaching a lot down here at NC State. Had 7 different true freshmen each start. 5th highest total in the country. This is Days.
Well, we had a chance to sit down with Dave Huxtable, defensive coordinator, yesterday. They felt like the key to their game today was they had to take care of the middle part of the field first. Justin Thomas is one thing and the pitch is another, but taking care of the B-back and on back-to-back plays here, St. John Days is rolling this offense out.
Days picked up 6 to set up 2nd and 4. Here's the pitch. Left side. Snoddy. Out near midfield. Another gain of 6.
Roderick Snoddy has stepped up big time for Georgia Tech. He's been a good player since he's been at Tech. He's a junior, redshirt junior, but because of the Charles Perkins injury, the senior, Snoddy has stepped up even more. In fact, his last couple of games, he's rushed for about 150 yards in the 2 games combined, so he's giving him a nice little punch at that A-back spot.
No secret that Georgia Tech ranks first in the ACC and 3rd nationally at running the football, 320 yards a game, and that'll win games for you. Here they go straight ahead with Days. They're picking them up in handfuls now.
Well, Tim, you're exactly right. And when you look down in this B-back, or if you want to go old school fullback, this is just a dive option. The ride, give to the fullback when you get good push up front. The next thing you know, you look up and it's 2nd and 5. It's one thing, and that's where North Carolina State has got to swell up defensively in the defensive line. They've got to limit that B-back gain to 2 or 3 yards.
B.J. Bostic comes into the ball game. Bostic is the lead blocker. Here's the pitch back to Days. Gets a block from Bostic. And he's inside the 35-yard line. Brandon Pittman tripped him up, but it's another big gainer. They got 11.
Well, we see St. John Days do all the tough stuff inside. Now they step him back, and he's the pitch back. Gets a great block, as you mentioned, Tim, out in front by Bostic, number 7. And Days is up the field for another Georgia Tech first down.
This is a 50-40 offense. 50% of their possessions, they score touchdowns.
And you see the play selection, but within those 11 rushes, there's so many different looks.
That was a little discombobulated, but ball's on the ground. NC State recovers it. Mike Rose. Days didn't have it, got it stripped. Ball was loose and Mike Rose jumped on it.
Going to run the option play. You see Snoddy fell down. He was supposed to be the lead blocker. And a number of NC State players at the point of attack here. Let's see who gets the helmet on it. Looks like a shoulder by Fernandez, the linebacker. We talked about the freshman, Jared Fernandez, flowing from sideline to sideline. He's the guy that got the shoulder in there. And then, of course, Mike Rose, number 90, came up with the recovery.
NC State's young defense now goes to +4 in the turnover ratio. Much better this year, forcing turnovers. Here's pressure, and Bissett throws a pass that was dangerous but incomplete. Wow. Braylon Cherry came available, and somehow Bissett got it to him.
Well, there's a lot of things that happen on this play. First of all, Georgia Tech is putting under tremendous pressure. McCourtis is going to come off the edge. Lawrence is right. Lawrence Austin's right there. Then Brissett's arm strength to get it to Cherry. And then how about the hustle of Devon Smith, number 12, to get back and strip it out?
Well, 1st and 10 is brought to you by YP.com, the even more powerful Yellow Pages. One app, one site. YP can do that. 2nd down and 10 for the Pack. This is Days. Breaks a tackle and slips another to the 35-yard line. Rashawn Neely made the tackle after a gain of 6.
Tim, we were here for Matt Days' first game his freshman year last year. He had 3 touchdowns, and then his season kind of went away. He had some injuries. As the coaches said, he got a little bit fat, maybe in the head as well as in the body. He rededicated himself, get that weight back off, get that speed back, and now he's their most versatile player coming out of the backfield.
Cherry and Greenwich come to the bottom of the screen. Those are your 2 receivers. He looks that way and throws it, has it complete to Greenwich. He's got another first down for the Wolfpack. That's Lawrence Austin hanging on for dear life, but it's a pickup of 8. They'll move the chains.
Nice job by Greenwich there, the sophomore. Outstanding size at 6'5", 270 pounds, receiving tight end, out in the slot now.
That's his 21st catch of the year. Here's the keeper by Brissett again. P.J. Davis trips him up.
Well, Georgia Tech's going to continue to play man coverage in the secondary with a single high safety. Their linebackers are going to have to find Jacoby Brissett and put him on the ground on these quarterback draws.
NC State picking up the tempo now. They're going quickly. Here's another completion. This is to Braylon Cherry. That's his 23rd reception of the year. Pickup of 7. They'll get back up to the line of scrimmage quickly.
Well, I like the way Jacoby Brissett is in command here. He's got a look that he's very comfortable with. He's distributing the football. Again, man coverage on the outside for Georgia Tech.
State spreads the field sideline to sideline, and another drop pass. It looked like it hit Greenwich in the chest, where his chest plate is of their shoulder pads.
Well, Lawrence Austin's off. Greenwich is going to run the hitch route. Well thrown ball. You saw the eyes peek. He's peeking, looking for Lawrence Austin to close, and he did not watch the football in. Another one of those, you talk about young receivers, there's sophomores and freshmen all over the field for Dave Doeren, and maybe no more evident in their receiving corps. Greenwich is a sophomore, a lot of receivers out there still learning how to play the game.
Yeah, freshmen and sophomores have accounted for 86% of the receiving yards. Second down and 10. Throw into the flats, look for a big gainer. Purvis carries it down inside the 40. Not enough for the first. P.J. Davis, the leading tackle, was there to make it stop.
But a good, quick decision on the bootleg to get the ball to Purvis. Just his fourth catch on the year. But Purvis puts you in a very makeable third down situation here at just 3rd and 2 because of the decision Brissett made to get the ball in his hands quickly.
Good to see Davis, and he made the tackle. Good to see him in the ball game. Held out of practice this week because of bumps and bruises. 3rd down and 2. First down, that's Austin. Holds on to it. I want to make sure he still had it. He looked like he bobbled it, but he picks up 8.
Yeah, does a good job. This is a zone coverage. He hooks up in the hole, and you know a defender's closing. That's the short side of the field. He does a good job of squeezing it.
Brissett really managing the tempo of this drive now. Almost caught by Austin. The ball was well thrown. He had to lay out, but had it in his hands, and it looked like he had DJ White beaten.
Well, it's a fade route. This is a perfect throw over the outside shoulder. This is one you'd like to squeeze. He just could not quite get to the football, and again, a near miss with young receiver and quarterback for NC State. They have had a number of those throughout the season, and Dave Doeren is banging his head against the wall saying, we've got the plays there, we just have to make them.
Yeah, they've had 4 of those today. 2 drops and 2 that were almosts. Here's Brissett. Brissett will tuck it away and go inside the 20 to the 17-yard line before Neely can get there.
Well, Jacoby Brissett is as active as we've seen him. He's doing an excellent job of understanding when he can get out of the pocket and make a play, standing in and making throws, and he makes another Georgia Tech defender miss in the run.
How about this? Up to the line again quickly. The snap. Brissett throws back shoulder, incomplete. That was intended for Cherry again. Cherry and DJ White have had a pretty good battle down here.
DJ White, of the corners, DJ White for Georgia Tech is, I think, the best. He's got great speed, great instinct, did a good job of staying in the hip pocket of Cherry there, and I think he did enough on that throw to kind of blur the vision.
12th play coming up in this drive, and they've varied their tempo through this drive. Here's a big slashing hole as Days takes it inside the 5. Touchdown, Days! State takes the lead. Matt Days for 17 yards.
Just doing a good job of getting to the second level. Look at the block right there in the linebacker, Neely. He's not in the hole to plug the hole for Days. And with man coverage in the secondary, if Days cracks that second level, the linebacker area, he's going to be off to the races. And so Days, his second touchdown, but only the first one that counted.
Sadie had his first one blocked. And this one is good. The Wolfpack, homecoming weekend, trying to become bowl eligible. And they are battling. We'll be back after this word from your local ACC station. Friday meals at Ruby Tuesday all season long, and there's not a team in the country that has better pregame meals than we do. And a good time was had by all last night.
Absolutely. The salad bar is phenomenal. They've got a menu, new items on the menu. The Coastal Trio and the glazed pork chop, outstanding. And we'd like to thank Thomas Martin, our guest services manager, who took care of us last night. Of course, Taylor and Cedric, who really were the 2 that were instrumental in taking care of the table. 12 of us were there, and well, they had to roll us out of their cars. We loved the food. It was spectacular.
It was fun. Well, Jamal Gold, March talked about him. He is really dangerous. Sadie to kick off. And here comes Golden. At 5 yards deep, and he'll think twice about bringing that out and downs it. Well, let's take you back through the window of time and look back at the Clemson-Wake game the other night. So here's Tom and Tommy and Charlotte.
Tim, thanks. It's a Hyundai update. Tigers and Deeks. We go to the third quarter. Artavis Scott going to go the distance.
A little trickery by Clemson. A forward pass. Artavis Scott in the end zone for the Tigers.
68 yards on the play. They took the lead and held on 34-20. Clemson now 7-2. Tim?
Well, of course, this team's going to go see Wake Forest. That'll be next week, and then Clemson coming up in 2 weeks for Georgia Tech.
Give Dave Clawson's team a ton of credit. They played Clemson into the wee hours of the night.
Actually, a Clemson-Georgia Tech game is next Saturday. Take a look at our What's on the Ruby Tuesday game menu for today in the Atlantic Coast Conference.
A huge game going on in New York. We've got an update on that. Duke, Syracuse, Virginia reeling a little bit going down to take on the #2 team in the country. And a really good game as Louisville travels to Chestnut Hill to take on a hot Boston College team. That is a chance to be a really good game this evening.
Yeah, a lot of rumbling going on down there in Charlottesville. They thought this would be a better season than they're having. So look at Paul Johnson, and he continues to put these seasons together and wins. This is his 7th season. He's been stuck on 7 wins, trying to get above that here today. Thomas throws high, and it's caught. Boy, what a catch by Smelter out there. DeAndre climbed the ladder. He's 6'3" to start with.
How about the protection? First of all, it's really good. And then Smelter's ability to kind of put his foot in the ground and drive back. 6'3", 220, climb the ladder and catch that bullet from Justin Thomas. Excellent protection up front, but Smelter has really created a difference. He's been much better this year. 23.7 yards of reception for DeAndre Smelter.
Yeah, he was a surprise last year when he came over from baseball, started playing, had a nice year. Not like he's having now, 25 catches for the season. There's Days with a gain of 2. PNC Bank presents our hardest working player. You just saw him, St. John Days.
Now, the workload's gotten more and more heavy for him as Zach Lasky's been on the sideline, the normal D-back. Outstanding last couple of weeks. Guy played quarterback, came in here, just continued to keep his head down and work hard.
Here he is, straight ahead, big hole into the second level. It's a foot race. Days inside the 10. Touchdown, Georgia Tech.
Talked about how you cannot fall asleep against Georgia Tech's offense. You see dive, pitch, and next thing you know, somebody runs out. A good job of blocking up front. Shaq Mason does a good job of clearing the way for St. John Days. And once they got that second level block, see number 70, excellent block from Burden to center. And Days gets pushing it in the end zone. But boy, you just cannot get lulled to sleep when you got to make sure you take care of your assignments here defensively, or Georgia Tech will crease you just like that.
He picked up 53 yards on that. Days had 110 yards against Pitt. Another great day against Virginia. He already has 116 in this game. And the extra point is good. So back and forth they go. It's a 1-point game. We'll be back after this word from Georgia Tech and NC State.
So got some room, 40, 35, they're chasing him from behind, 20, 10, 5, touchdown!
Voice of the Jackets, Brandon Godden there on Days. Let's take a look at this touchdown. This safety has got the pitch. He's out of the middle field. Can you get these two defenders blocked? Mason and Burden are going to come off the ball, step around the nose tackle, get both linebackers blocked, and there's nobody home, because that's not the safety's responsibility to be back. He's responsible for the pitch. The linebackers were blocked, and St. John Days puts another one on the board.
Zach Lasky's been out with a shoulder injury, and St. John Days has stepped in and been huge in his absence.
But give that offensive line a ton of credit. They've done a nice job of creating some creases in there for St. John Days to run it.
Nichols is deep for NC State. This will drive him way back into the back of the end zone, and he'll down it for a touchback. And with 2 seconds left in the first quarter, this has been a dandy.
Well, Jacoby Brissett has done an outstanding job. Already over 100 yards of total offense. I don't think in the wild scheme of things, Paul Johnson would ever thought that Jacoby Brissett in the first quarter would have over 60 yards rushing against his defense, but that's where we're at. He's got 63 yards rushing, 51 yards passing. He's been the difference right now for NC State.
Georgia Tech scored first. NC State then scored 13 unanswered, had an extra point blocked, and then the Big Days run of 53 yards. That's where we are as we come to the end of this first quarter. Last play, first quarter, here at Carter Finley Stadium. This is Thornton, and Shadrack Thornton's got a big hole. Takes it around the corner. That'll set up 2nd down and 2 as we head into the second quarter from Carter Finley Stadium. It has been a good one. 14-13. State trying to become bowl eligible. You look at the game summary. St. John Days with 116 yards and a touchdown already. Matt Days with 25 yards and a touchdown. So we've got the Days and plenty of time remaining.
Both the Days are playing well, and both quarterbacks are playing well. Jacoby Brissett now his opportunity with the football after Justin Thomas guides his team to a touchdown.
27 points in that first quarter, 323 combined yards by these two teams, and 19 first downs. This is Thornton, and Thornton's a load to bring down. Stretches his way out to the 44-yard line before P.J. Davis finally wrestles him down.
Well, NC State is going to force Georgia Tech out of playing man coverage because that's what they want to do, but there's not enough bodies in the box to stop the run game.
This is Thornton again. He's a big guy, 6'1", 206 pounds.
Take a look at this offensive line and defensive line going head-to-head here. They come off the football. Good push to the inside. And a big hit in the middle as P.J. Davis, sophomore linebacker, steps in for the big hit.
2nd down and 7. Little swing pass. This is Thornton again. Thornton's up close to a first down before D.J. White trips him up. Thornton has had some problems off the field, but seems to be doing very well now. But just imagine, had he not had any problems, how would he be doing now? I still remember he had those 173 yards against Florida State.
Yeah, 600-yard rushing games in his career.
Brissett with a lot of room to run, throws, and it's caught. Bo Hines goes down and gets under it.
Brissett's trying to get his team to line of scrimmage quickly. You see this in the NFL all the time. Well, I'm not sure he caught that one, but Brissett can get a snap here.
Moot point now. And Thornton carries it ahead for 4 yards.
That's a really good job by Jacoby Brissett, but it looks like they may have gotten a buzz from upstairs before the snap.
And they're going to review that last play. And it looks like it's going to be incomplete, even though they ran that play.
And Dave Dorn's upset about it. I think the ball touches the ground here, Tim. I think the other look we had earlier here is you look at Bo Hines trying to squeeze the football on that low throw from Brissett. But they're not going to take a look at it. They're going to go ahead and go at the play. And I think that Brissett rushing to the line of scrimmage, get the ball snap, may have not allowed him to review it.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think that's what Dave Doeren was telling him. Here's a throw in the middle, and that's incomplete. Valdes-Scantling had come free in the middle of the field. The ball was underthrown.
It's another one of those plays that Dave Doeren talked about yesterday. He's got Valdes-Scantling wide open. Scantling tries to go low to get it, to squeeze the ball. But Georgia Tech's able to get it out. It looked like Milton came in and knocked it out of there. But another opportunity against man coverage and just don't get it done.
He had a step on step down. 3rd down and 7, and Tony Creasy comes into the game. Brissett throws the out pattern. That's complete. It'll be short of the first down, or close to the first down. We'll see where the mark is. Bo Hines with another catch. Bo Hines was the first commitment in that freshman class.
Maybe about a yard short, so they'll go. And I don't blame them. They know that they're going to need to score some points here against this Georgia Tech offense. Fourth down.
Quarterback sneak. And that should move the chains.
He had to crease just over the 20 or the 17-yard line. He didn't get any initial push. Georgia Tech jumped into that bear look and covered those 3 interior linemen. There was not a lot of push.
Now initially it looked like he got a great mark. They've squeezed it a little bit more, and they're going to measure.
Well, if he got this, it's by the nose of the football. See, Georgia Tech crowds that middle of the line of scrimmage. There's no push. They do a good job, and then look like Quayshawn Neely is able to fold in behind and kind of pull the quarterback back.
This is where you hope there's a kink in the chain, but he just barely got it.
By the nose of the football. Really a pretty good job by Georgia Tech to make that a tough play, but Jacoby Brissett got enough to extend this drive.
First down, Wolfpack.
What Paul Johnson does a lot on 4th down. He likes to go for it in those short yardage situations.
Brissett out of the gun. Thornton back there with him. They spread the field sideline to sideline. Thornton looks for a crease, finds it. Down to the 11. Isaiah Johnson had to make the tackle. He's the safety.
It looks like Sean Green still down on the field. Big defensive tackle for Georgia Tech. Boy, NC State is spreading Georgia Tech out and then running against 6 men in the box, and they're finding some creases, Tim, in the run game.
Right now, Sean Green, who's down on the field, is the one that made it a 1-point game. He's the one that got a hand on Sadie's extra point. While he's down, we'll tell you about Haviland and the ACC Network, because they're giving you a chance to vote for the best players and coaches this season. The fans' choice for offensive and defensive player, along with rookie and coach of the year. That'll all be tallied before the season's end. Cast your vote today at the ACC.com/fanvote.
Hey, look at the ACC Offensive Player of the Year. We're hoping Sean Green is okay. They're taking a look at him, the Georgia Tech medical staff. But there's a number of names out there now, Tim, as far as Offensive Player of the Year in the ACC. Obviously, Jameis Winston's name will be part of the mix, but James Conner and Tyler Murphy and Jamison Crowder, go on and on. There's a number of players, and I know I'm leaving people out, but there's a number of players. Duke Johnson, absolutely.
Take a look at some of those prime-time performers from just a week ago, and here's Duke Johnson you were just talking about.
Yeah, Duke Johnson, 5 consecutive 100-yard games. I think he's thrust himself into the Heisman category. How about the leading rusher in the country, James Conner, 263 a week ago. Talked about Gerard Holloman, 10 interceptions. Holloman, he's got to throw his name in the mix. And of course, Anthony Boone, all he does is go win games. 17-1 as a starter as the Duke Blue Devil quarterback.
And right now, that Coastal Division is Duke's to win. I mean, they've got the game lead, just have to win out, and it's theirs. That's a tall order, though, with the schedule they have coming up. So Green was helped off. Cowan comes in. Left side, big hole for Thornton. Bangs his way down to the 7.
You got to give this offensive line a lot of credit, and then how violent Shadrack Thornton runs with the football. When you hear the coaches talk about it, they say he's our downhill runner. Well, there's no question about that. Boy, he brings it coming downhill as hard as you can. He leads his team in rushing touchdowns, and he's the guy in the game right now.
Coaches call him the Punisher. 3rd down and 1. Big hole. Thornton got the first down inside the 5.
Well, Alex Barr is in the game, and they rotate a number of offensive linemen. Number 71, Alex Barr, going to come off the football and pushes Davis off the pile. Big 71 is the guy that Shadrack Thornton folds in behind to pick up the first down, and they're inside the 5 here, 1st and goal.
Purvis and Samuels come into the ball game, and watch Samuels, number 28, the freshman. Every time he touches the ball, something good happens. This is Thornton and nothing there. P.J. Davis met him right in the hole.
Well, P.J. does a good job of coming off the edge. P.J. Davis, sideline to sideline guy, not the biggest guy in the world, 5'11", 215 pounds, but he is their leading tackler, and he's going to come off the edge right here, number 40. Get in and make the play before Thornton can ever get started. In fact, that's a tackle for loss. Two-yard loss on the play.
Loss 2. You're right. He got there quickly and jumped right in the hole in front of him.
Well, this is where you got to find Greenwich if you're Georgia Tech. The big tight end. He flexes out right here.
Second down. Incomplete. Picked off. Picked off. It's still alive. Neely. He's got blockers. Neely still on his feet. And finally taken down from behind at the 30. I've got to see that again.
Well, NC State may have stripped the ball out. Good hustle play. I couldn't tell who it was. It looked like
Samuels.
The freshman Jalen Samuels. Let's take a look at the back end of this. And NC State's got the ball. Samuels, 28, going to come in and strip it out of Neely's hands and actually takes it out of his hands on the way down.
Took it right away from him. Coaches say every time Jay Sam comes into the game, he does something big.
Well, there's Samuels, 28. He's right up here. He's at the top of your screen. Ball popped off the foot into the air. Neely makes an excellent play. And right in this moment, he thinks I'm scoring a touchdown. And here comes Jalen Samuels, the freshman. What a hustle play right there.
I thought the ball hit the ground. It hit his foot. Good call.
Well, that's a good play by a freshman. Never give up on the play.
A 70-yard return on the interception. Days now comes into the ball game. Set, throws over the middle, has it complete. Here comes NC State again. Back and forth they go. This is Bo Hines.
Let's take a look at this ball bounce off the foot. You see it pop in the air right off the back, the heel area of Chris Melton.
Brissett has it picked off. Brissett's got to chase him down, or DJ White will score. Touchdown, Georgia Tech. DJ White.
Tim talked about DJ White as the best defensive back, maybe in the secondary, certainly from a coverage standpoint. He has great speed, and he's going to close on this. He's been watching this short out route all day long. Right here, just going to jump the out route. Really no backpedal. See, saw it all the way, never backpedaled out. 38-yard return for DJ White. And he's the guy that really is on the come when you start talking about defenders that are rising in the eyes of a number of the scouts out there. DJ White, just a junior, outstanding play.
Harrison Butker's extra point is good. How about that series of events? The rambling wreck from Georgia Tech, and the fans here at Carter Finley getting seasick, jumping on and off the bandwagon. Won't be long now. The Close King Indoor Practice Facility will be completed in March, and they'll be moving inside there. It's a beauty. Derek Close graduated in '82. James King graduated in '62. Their name will be on it.
I would have missed that. A spectacular facility. Talk about recruits coming in and seeing the facility. We were here in opening week when the Wolfpack took on Georgia Southern, and just bare ground out there. Now, as you mentioned, the skeleton up, and there's a real, actual, tangible facility that people are starting to look at now. It's going to be spectacular.
Project costs $17.2 million, which will be privately funded by the Wolfpack Club. Debbie Yao very, very proud of that building. This is Nichols. And Nichols finds a big hole and gets out around the corner and will run it all the way out to the 38-yard line. Take you back to Charlotte, get an update on that Duke-Syracuse game.
That's right, Tim. This is a Hyundai update. Duke against Syracuse in the second quarter. Anthony Boone to Isaac Blakeney. That's 22 yards, caps a 91-yard scoring drive. 10-3 Duke at the Dome.
Well, I tell you what, David Cutcliffe just keeps the team rolling.
Blakeney, the big receiver at 6'5". You can take a look at the ACC Coastal Division standings, and you see how tight they're bunched. Obviously, Georgia Tech keeping an eye on what's going on at North. Duke has a game in hand against Georgia Tech as they went to Atlanta to win over the Jackets a few weeks ago.
Here's the swing pass, not thrown well. That is a forward pass intended for Matt Days. Let's go down to Rachel, checked in on DJ White.
Yeah, guys, you're calling his name for that interception of Jacoby Brissett. I talked to Ted Roof about him this week. And, guys, he was the player that ran down the Terminator, James Conner from Pitt. And apparently Ted Roof got a lot of calls and texts about it. And when he told DJ White that, he was like, really, coach? So he's a very humble guy. And DJ actually told me, I talked to him this week as well, he said, I actually get that from my coach. He never, ever talks about his playing days, which makes us put the team first.
Well, he's playing well again today, too.
You talk about DJ White's speed, and that's impressive to run the big fella Conner down. I saw him on tape run down Philip Dorsett, and for those that follow ACC football, Philip Dorsett might be the fastest football player in the conference, the wide receiver from Miami. He caught a little crossing route. DJ White went and got it. He's got great speed.
Just reeled him in. How about this game here? 3 turnovers in a space of about 35 seconds, and it's still a one-possession game. Tony Creasy comes into the ball game now for State. 3rd down and 8. Well, they need a first down. Keep this thing going. Jacoby Brissett throws high, makes the catch at the 49. Should be enough for the first, depending on the mark. But Alston with a terrific catch.
Boy, that's a good catch. White tight coverage. Alston comes out on the comeback, and boy, what a nice job of snatching the ball out of the air with those hands, plucking it and pulling it in.
Like he was catching a jugs machine.
Yeah, these are going to be contested catches because Georgia Tech's made a commitment to play man coverage on the outside. So these young receivers are going to have to make catches like that. Alston, one of those sophomores we talked about.
Alston and Cherry go to the top of the screen as they continue to spread the field. This is high and outside, intended for Bo Hines.
Well, it looked like there Jacoby is kicking himself a little bit. He had the look he wanted. Hal Hines going to the bench to the corner, and he just kind of shot putted it out there instead of just stepping in and throwing it. Wow, how many plays? 44 plays already. 8 minutes to go. Still second quarter, and NC State's run 44 offensive plays.
Well, we talked about their offense being their best defense today to keep that Georgia Tech offense on the sidelines. This is Hines. He'll be just shy of the 45-yard line. Pick up of 7.
Good job of picking up some yardage on the perimeter. This is just a bubble screen to the outside to Hines, and Hines makes a defender miss and hits it up for about 6 yards. And so here you are, if you're Matt Canada, the offensive coordinator, it's 3rd and 4, very manageable situation. And for Georgia Tech, they need to make sure they find Jacoby Brissett on the run. He's run the ball for first downs.
And this is another great opportunity for State in Georgia Tech territory. Cherry in motion. Backside pressure, look out. And Brissett goes down and loses the football. Still alive. No whistle. Touchdown, Georgia Tech. Quishon Neely. Hold on, we've got a player hurt back here, but the touchdown will stand.
Now, Jacoby Brissett is the player down.
And he's grabbing his knee.
And McCordis came in off the backside, and Jacoby never really saw him. Neely with the scoop and score. But the concern right now for Jacoby Brissett. Here's McCordis. He's going to come off the edge, and Brissett moves, but he never ever sees or feels McCordis coming off the edge. He swipes with the right hand and gets the ball out. And this time nobody's going to catch Neely from behind as he gets the escort into the end zone. Here's McCordis. He's the ball out before. So yeah, the ball's definitely out before Brissett hits the ground, so it's certainly a fumble and a scoop and score. We were looking to see if anything's on the ground. No, the ball's out. The ball definitely out before Brissett had hit the ground, or is he trying to throw the
Looks
football?
like he's trying to throw it.
Well, unfortunately for him, yeah, that's a good look. That's one where is his arm going forward before the ball comes out of his hand?
It looked like the ball touched the ground, but it also looked like his arm was going forward to push that. So the ruling on the field is confirmed. It's a touchdown for State. 43-yard return of the fumble for the touchdown. McCourtis knocked it loose. Neely picked it up, scooped and scored. 43.
Well, it's an excellent play by Georgia Tech defensively. But let's hope one of the really good players in the ACC is not hurt right here. You don't like to see anybody hurt, but Brissett has been a breath of fresh air for NC State at the quarterback spot.
If you have not followed Jacoby Brissett's story, he was a top 100 national recruit out of high school in South Florida. He went to Florida, started 3 games for the Gators, transferred to NC State. He played with the Red Shirts last year, came in this year as the big hope, and he was there. Well, we say their hope. He was the guy that they hope would turn the fortunes here at NC State. So Garrett Latham now warming up. College football playoff ranking brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You see that Clemson, Duke, and Georgia Tech now in that top 25.
Georgia Tech plays Clemson next weekend. Clemson survived Thursday night against Wake Forest, so they'll stay in that top 25. Georgia Tech trying to hang on and put together a good matchup next week. Good to see Jacoby getting up and moving off the field on his own here. It looked like maybe the ball, as Jacoby tried to shovel the ball forward, the ball comes out of his hand as it touches the ground there, Tim. And I think that so the ball's coming loose before he's able to come forward with the hand. That's the only thing I could think of that the official saw that confirmed that it was a fumble.
Jacoby had receivers open today, but he's only 12 of 25, 110 yards, 2 interceptions. He ran the ball 7 times, as you mentioned, Arch, for 53 yards. Harrison Butker is on to attempt the extra point. And the extra point is good.
Something Georgia Tech has not gotten, Tim. 2 defensive touchdowns in a long time.
Wolfpack needs to howl to get back in this. 28-13 Yellow Jackets. Jacoby Brissett putting his helmet back on. That's a good sign. They just helped him off the field. But it looks like he's going to come back in the ball game.
And all his weight and all McCourtis' weight fell on that right side, and I think that was the issue, was that maybe ribcage shoulder area.
Nichols will have a chance to return this. There is a flag down, and this may be offsides of Georgia Tech. See if Georgia Tech was offsides here.
How about the hit by Tremaine McNair, number 46? Just dropped the hammer on the return.
And it is offsides against the Yellow Jackets. He got a running start.
Whew. The senior from Jacksonville, North Carolina.
Offside, kicking team. 5-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play. First down.
Let me tell you something. That young man's probably got to go to a couple calculus classes, maybe 2 or 3 other classes that I don't even know how to spell. But he just dropped the hammer right there. That's going to make next week taste a little good for him right there.
Anthony Harrell, number 2, helped him now. He was a setup guy too. Timeout on the field. We'll take one as well after this word from your local ACC stations.
Welcome back to Carter Finley Stadium for NC State and Georgia Tech. A scary moment there for NC State quarterback Jacoby Brissett. What originally looked like a knee injury was an upper body extremity injury. They brought him over to the sidelines, guys. They're having him breathe in and out. He jumps up off the training table wanting to go in and play. I eventually did talk to the trainer. The trainer said he's going to be fine. It was an upper body extremity. And in that time, Dave Doran, the head coach, is running up and down the sideline screaming, "Next man up! Next man up! Get ready!" So it was a crazy time here on the NC State sideline.
Well, as it turns out, that next man up is the guy that he had in the game before. That's Jacoby Brissett. He's not going to let a next man step up. That's a leadership for you.
And the junior from West Palm Beach hands it off to Underwood.
Well, kind of one of the mysteries of NC State is the disappearance, really, of Brian Underwood, their outstanding receiver. 2 years ago, Ryan Underwood caught a touchdown pass in 10 consecutive games. Since then, he's just kind of gone away, and he's only touched the ball 12 times this year, 5 receptions and 7 rushes. He's probably their most explosive player. They just have had a tough time blending him into the offense.
Second down and long for Brissett. Throws hard to the outside. Ball comes loose. He was down at the 30. So Tyler Purvis makes the catch. But again, there's DJ White playing very aggressively on the defense. Stripped him, but he was down.
Yeah, he's going to sit out in the flat here, Tim, on this flat throw to Purvis. And it looks like Purvis is laying on top of White when he rakes the ball out. That's the argument the Georgia Tech sideline's having, is he wasn't on the ground when the ball came out.
Tony Creasy comes into the ball game. This is 3rd down and long. Wolfpack 5 of 8 on 3rd down conversions. Brissett steps up. Incomplete, but there was a whistle to stop the play, and the flag is down.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense number 15, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
That's Jonathan Alston who moved. So that play should have been whistled dead. Paul Johnson's out on the field, wants to know if that pass is incomplete.
It's a pre-snap foul, so the penalty has to be enforced. Paul didn't have a choice there. That's a pre-snap foul. It's a dead ball pre-snap foul, so he didn't have a choice to decline.
Paul looks like he smelled something bad. They'll bring up 3rd down and 11. But Brissett still gets another chance at it.
Georgia Tech is coming out and showing zone coverage now. You see the slot defender is undefended. Now here he comes up in the front.
Brissett avoids it, steps up, flags everywhere back there. This will be holding against NC State. Brissett's got the 1st down and plenty more. He's all the way down to the 33, but the play looks like it's coming back for holding.
Holding, offense number 26, 10-yard penalty, 3rd down.
And that's the graduate student, Tony Creasy.
Yeah, Creasy's going to come across and pick up the blitzing linebacker. Here's Creasy. He's going to come right over here, and he's going to grab. Looks like McCordis, the linebacker, wraps his arms around him and takes him out of the play. That's where the flag comes from. How about the effort by Jacoby Brissett? Left the field injured. Big time run there, all for naught.
Picked up 43 yards. That comes back. Now it's going to be 3rd down and a train ride.
Now this is generally where an offensive coordinator will come with a draw play or a screen. They've got Matt Days in the game, who's an excellent receiving back. Maybe set up a screen or something to him.
NC State needs something spicy here. They've got Days and Thornton in the game. Brissett again sets up the screen, looking for blockers. This is Thornton. And Shadrach Thornton can't even get back to the original line of scrimmage, so he gets 9. Needed 21.
A pretty good job by Georgia Tech. They're realizing that's what offensive coordinators do. Backed up, it's a draw play, it's a screen. Georgia Tech does a good job of staying at home and getting Thornton on the ground, and so they have an opportunity to put Golden on the field for a return.
That brings on Will Bauman, a Ray Guide Award candidate. Averages 47 yards a punt. And boy, they need a boomer here. Bauman gets a high spiraling kick. It'll be taken at the 35. Looking for a crease, gets a blocker. And out to midfield into NC State territory. Devin O'Connor, a 40-yard punt and a return of 18. Well, it's been the defense of Georgia Tech that has separated the score. We'll find out what happens as they go back on offense. Football is being broadcast on AFN, the American Forces Network. We welcome the nearly 1 million men and women of the U.S. Army, Air Force, Navy, Coast Guard, and Marines stationed around the globe in 175 countries and on the high seas. We're so proud to have you with us. We hope you're enjoying the broadcast. How about that parade down in Fayetteville, honoring Afghanistan war veterans, past, present, and future? Boy, We want to thank WRAL for all the video, too.
That's where I was born, Fayetteville, North Carolina, where Dad was stationed at Fort Bragg. I believe still the home of the 82nd Airborne Division.
Wow. This is Snoddy, comes around the corner, cuts back inside. He'll be just short of the first down. Broderick Snoddy picks up 9.
Well, you got to go all the way back. Look at this, all the way back to the 2-second mark of the first quarter since Georgia Tech's had the football on offense. 11 minutes. Georgia Tech has had their offense on the sideline, and during that time, their defense has put 2 touchdowns on the board. Pretty good opening play for an offense that's been sitting on the sideline. 8-yard run by Snoddy.
2nd down and 1 for Tech. They go straight ahead with the fullback. That's St. John Days. Picks up 5. Only needed a half.
When you think about the different guys and the mentality to play that B-back spot that St. John Days is playing, we talk about Zach Lasky, who's been outstanding for the last couple seasons for Georgia Tech. Hurt right now, probably back next week. But the mentality, I asked Paul Johnson, what's it take to play that position? He says, you got to be a football player. I mean, there's a lot, toughness, strength, everything you could possibly want. That's who that guy's got to be.
Run it again, straight ahead with Days. You know, the thing about that B-back, or the fullback workhorse, is that they get most of the carries, but they're so close up behind the quarterback. That's a quick read that they have to look at that inside zone.
Absolutely, and their ability to take the amount of hits that they take throughout the game. Obviously, more carries means he gets popped a little bit more, but he's spending time in that in-between area where the big uglies are, and he's getting popped early every play.
Here's that option again that goes the opposite way with Justin Thomas. He bounces outside. He's got the first down and runs out of bounds.
Yeah, same play that Justin Thomas scored the touchdown on. He does a good job of being patient and getting in behind the block. Shaq Mason going to pull out in front. Excellent job by Griffin as well. And then you see the patience. He allowed the big guys to get the blocks and then folded in behind. Better job of defending at that time by NC State, but not until Justin Thomas had a first down.
Justin Thomas is closing in on 1,000 yards. Needs about 17 more, and he'll be the 44th player in the Georgia Tech history to gain 1,000. There's a pickup of 9.5.
Now they're coming off the ball, and what coaches like to talk about in the run game is let's play on the other team's side of the line of scrimmage, and that's what's happening. We saw this team against Duke, maybe their worst game of the year, and Duke played in the offensive backfield. They really dictated for Georgia Tech offensively. Not today. Georgia Tech playing on North Carolina State side of the line of scrimmage.
2nd down and 1. Slashing ahead goes St. John Days for another first down. That'll be 1st and goal.
Travis White, number 8, going to come in from in what you see as safeties. They're starting to try to get more and more people around the line of scrimmage. Travis Wright is a linebacker slash safety man. When they play their 4-2-5, he's the nickel. Outstanding tackler and very good in coverage. Just a sophomore out of Vero Beach, Florida.
State is one of the top 5 in the league in red zone defense, but they're being gashed right now. 1st and goal at the 8. Around the corner they come. There's the contain, and there's the filter. Boy, they had pursuit right into Zenon that time. It was well done. To pick up a 3, still they pick up 3, but that was good pursuit.
Well, excellent job by NC State to flow to the football here, because this looked like they were outflanked initially, but a number of red hats get to the football and limit the play.
Timeout, Georgia Tech. The ACC and your local Toyota dealers are unlocking the ACC archives. Folks, you can relive over 60 classic football games. 9 years ago, NC State's Jay Davis and Brian Clark were scoring passes of 40 and 80 yards, while Garland Heath made a key interception in the end zone to stop a Georgia Tech comeback. It was deflected. He got it. 26 seconds left, and the Wolfpack won 17-14. Visit theacc.com/vault, and it's brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places.
Did you recognize that guy that volleyballed the ball in the air right there? Number 21 for Georgia Tech. Pretty good receiver. They call him Megatron. That was Calvin Johnson. Not one of his better moments right there, by the way.
He is a good one. So Darren Waller goes way to the top of the screen. Second and goal from the 5. Straight ahead. And again, pursuit stops Days as he gets down close to the goal line, but he's going to be a couple yards short.
A good job by NC State to take away that initial dive play.
Well, what's coming up at halftime? Let's go back to Charlotte and find out with Tom.
Tim, thank you very much. We'll have highlights of the game that you are watching, but we'll also delve into Duke and Syracuse. Coach, this is really close at halftime. 10-3 Duke has the lead, and Syracuse down to its 4th-string quarterback.
It's been a very sloppy game for Duke with penalties. Had a kickoff return for a touchdown, and are right now only throwing for 79 yards per first half, 132 total yards. Very sloppy game for Duke.
Yeah, not a lot of offense so far, but we'll see those highlights and the highlights from our ACC Network game right now. We'll go back to Raleigh. We'll see you in just a couple minutes on the Hyundai Halftime Report.
All right, Tom, thank you very much. Georgia Tech leads NC State 70-10 in this series dating back to 1918, 17-10. They don't play every year. They don't play that often, obviously. Last time they met was 2011. Third down and goal from the 2. Tim Byerly comes in at quarterback. He's down to the goal line and in. Tim Byerly with a touchdown. A redshirt junior from Alpharetta, Georgia, from 2 yards out.
Well, and you might ask, okay, why is Byerly in there? Justin Thomas is 5'11", 195. Byerly is 220 pounds. He's 6 feet, 6'1", 220. That was a quarterback run all the way. It's the follow play. You allow St. John Days essentially to be the lead blocker, and then Byerly folds in behind, and essentially is an I formation, straight ahead ISO play, and Byerly hammers it in.
Well, Byerly was terrific in the spring, and he was really solid when we saw him in relief against Duke. Here's a good snap, and the extra point is good. And Georgia Tech has taken control of this ball game, 35-13. What a great day this has been, though, for this stadium. Great weekend. This is the 300th game. It opened back in October 8th, 1966. A loss to South Carolina. State's record here is 189 wins against just 104. 6 ties. I was involved in one of those ties. Famous hill there, always packed. Of course, they've closed that in now. But it's a great stadium. It was fun to play in. I can tell you that. Played here twice.
Well, it's a heck of a fan base here in Raleigh as well. North Carolina State always draws extremely well, and we know that the North Carolina State-North Carolina game coming up, we've been here in this stadium for that one. We've also been in Chapel Hill. That's a classic in this area as well.
Tire Pros is giving you a chance to win a new set of tires, wheels, and a VIP trip for 2 to the ACC Championship. Check out their ride and style sweepstakes, and you can be on your way to an all-expenses-paid trip to the ACC Football Championship and get a new set of Continental tires and Monster wheels. Enter today at theacc.com/tirepros. 28 unanswered points by Georgia Tech. Ball's loose again. This is Nichols. Nichols catches a block, gets outside, looks for some help, cuts it back to the inside, and gets hit hard at the 30. Anthony Harrell hit him hard. Let's take a look at our Haviland defensive shield.
Well, when you talk about interceptions, Georgia Tech near the top of the ACC. In fact, number 2 in the ACC now in interceptions. Had the White interception return for a touchdown after the Neely interception that ultimately culminated those 2 turnovers. But they've done an outstanding job in their secondary taking away. Louisville, of course, leads the ACC in their interceptions, and Holloman, their great safety, has 10 of those 18 interceptions for the Cardinals.
Matt Days comes in. Jacoby Brissett is your quarterback. He's going to try to work quickly. Only has a few seconds to go here in the first half. Gets a big gainer and into Georgia Tech territory with 10 seconds remaining on the clock. Picks up 20. Finally stopped by Lawrence Austin.
Yeah, really a poor job. Georgia Tech not rallying to the football to make the tackle there. And they've given NC State an opportunity potentially with a completion here to get in field goal range.
NC State takes a timeout, Arch, with 10 seconds left.
Yeah, kind of a lackadaisical effort there by Georgia Tech's defense. Jacoby Brissett trying to get one last scratch here. Remember, Georgia Tech gets the football to start the second half. But let's take a look at the effort here to try to get the big quarterback on the ground. Just kind of a wait-and-see attitude. Oh, somebody else will tackle him. Poor effort there in the middle. And ultimately getting him on the ground, but not until he ripped off a nice run and really puts himself in position here with a completion to give Sadie an opportunity to kick a field goal.
NC State has 2 timeouts left. With 10 seconds, obviously, they'll only have a chance for 1. They need to pick up that gainer, call timeout immediately.
What that means is that all throws are available. I don't have to throw the ball to the sideline with Jacoby Brissett here. I can throw the ball in the middle of the field. You could probably figure Georgia Tech to play zone here, so he should have something open.
Valdez-Scantling goes to the top of the screen. Twins at the bottom, Hines and Cherry. Brissett with pressure. Rolls right, throws hard, has a completion. Down to the 30-yard line, inside the 30. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, and they take a timeout. Valdez-Scantling with the catch. Pickup of 20.
Not exactly what happened. Zone coverage. Georgia Tech turning, looking at the quarterback. It's just a deep comeback route. Well-thrown ball. And a good job of getting what he could get, Valdez-Scantling, and getting on the ground, burn the timeout. And here comes one of the more accomplished kickers in the ACC, the senior Nicholas Sadie, to try to add 3 here to scratch out a couple points here before the half.
Good look at the young sophomore Valdez-Scantling. As soon as he hit the ground, was calling for that timeout. They get it with 2 seconds left.
And I think that you really moved the ball pretty good if you're NC State. Turn the ball over. You're going in for a touchdown. You get the odd ball off the heel, up in the air interception. But you moved the football, so here you scratch for some points. And I think, we've seen NC State come back before in this building, Tim.
This would be a 46-yard attempt by Sadie. He's got the distance, and it's good. Nicholas Sadie brings it home like a little draw on the golf course. Now he only needs 4 points to pass Ted Brown for the all-time scoring leader at NC State.
Now, just a little sloppy there at the end of the half, I think, for Georgia Tech defensively. They didn't need to give up that 3. Now, when you look at the grand scheme of things, 19 points, but it's a net 3 more points.
He got a lot of leg into it, and look at the draw. Pulled it right in front of the upright. Let's go down to Rachel.
Coach, touchdowns from both of your quarterbacks, defensive touchdowns, extending drives, especially on 3rd down. But I know you're a perfectionist. What do you do in the second half to close this game out?
Well, it's been a crazy game. I mean, we're having a hard time stopping them defensively unless we get turnovers, but they're also having a hard time stopping us. So if we can take the second half kickoff, drive down the field and score, at least we'll have a pretty good lead.
What about the play of your defense, Coach?
Well, they've made plays in spots. They've hit plays, but we've given up a lot of plays too.
All right, good luck.
Thanks.
All right. We've got a big game here, and NC State, well, they are fighting. And as Dave and Arch said, we know they can come back. Let's send it back to the studio.
Return, Samuels comes in and strips out, and the very next play, a throw into the flat, and DJ White intercepts and runs for a touchdown. 3 turnovers, the interception, the fumble, the interception in a 35-second sequence, which results in the scoop and score there on the fumble by Quayshawn Neely.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, we were talking at halftime, Jacoby Brissett. He had some guys open and he missed them. He had a couple of drops, but for the most part, he didn't get a lot of help.
No, he had some people open that he missed. He's got 215 yards of total offense, but the 2 turnovers are glaring. NC State needed to play clean. They have not played clean here in the first half. There's still 30 minutes of football left. And to Dave Doran's credit, he realized his offense has moved the football. They just need to do a better job of taking care of it.
So Nicholas Sadie prepares to kick off to Georgia Tech. They'll have it first. Jamal Golden will be standing at his own goal line. We'll see what takes place here. But Georgia Tech will try to milk the clock and shorten the game now. And for NC State, they need to get some points. This is a returnable kick. Golden takes it 3 yards deep and decides to kneel it. So they'll bring it out from 25.
When you look at this rushing attack, we talk about the 3 options in the triple option. That's the pitch to the outside. They've been extremely good at that with the ability to block on the perimeter. How about handing the ball off to the B-back? St. John Days mentioned he's got 142 yards rushing. Been very good at that. And then the key play. Here's the touchdown that Justin Thomas had to start the game in their opening drive. He's been very timely in his opportunities as well. Matt Byerly has a touchdown run for the quarterback keep position as well. But you see they've dispersed it across the table. And the one area that NC State said they needed to take care of was the dive. They have not done it.
Here's Thomas on the keeper. Now pitches to the outside. And Zenon gets across the 30-yard line. This is a 50-40 offense. Georgia Tech scores 50% of its possessions, and 40% of those are touchdowns.
Well, they put so much pressure on every area of the field defensively. Your interior has to be assignment conscious. Your perimeter has to be assignment conscious. We have not seen Justin Thomas pull it out and throw the ball deep off the option look. He's got 2 big receivers on the outside. They stretch you in every possible way.
2nd down and 5 for Thomas. He'll keep it. He's got a little bit of a blocker out front that he outruns and takes it all the way down near the 40-yard line. Josh Jones chased him down and runs him out.
Yeah, there's no question. That's a lot of middle blocker. When you start talking about 6'3", 325-pound Aaron Joe, number 75, get the good block there by Shaq Mason. And look at the big fella Joe. He says, "I'll turn it over to you, Justin. You go ahead and do it." That's a bomber with a fighter on the back side of it. So excellent job there of running that counter play in the quarterback keep.
Aaron Joe, 6'3", 315 pounds. Gain of 30. Here they go to the fullback Days. Picks up a couple. So Georgia Tech continues to gash this defense.
Yeah, they're winning the line of scrimmage, Tim, is what's happening. And then they'll offset the individual inside play coming off the ball with a little something special, like the play we just saw, the little counter play with the 2 offensive linemen pulling out in front. That keeps you really off balance defensively. NC State's got to find a way to get a stop here.
2nd down and 8. Thomas is approaching 800 yards rushing. Here he gives to the fullback again, and there's nowhere to go. Good play by Thomas Teal to get there first, and then it was pursued by the state defense.
Talked about Thomas Teal, big number 69. He's a monster. We talked to Mike Rose yesterday, and he says he's just a monster. Does a great job working against all the ACC offensive guard. Shaq Mason right there wins at the point of attack and forces Georgia Tech into 3rd long, and this is the area they did not feel very comfortable.
Thomas Teal named the game captain for this game based on past performance. 3rd down and 7 for the Jackets. Play action. Thomas steps up and throws to the outside and has it complete. 1st down, Georgia Tech.
Well, Tim, they force you into one-on-one situations on the outside. This time, Justin Burris is working against 6'5" Darren Waller. And look at the protection and wait for Justin to let it go. And then the 6'5" Waller climbs the ladder on a throw a little behind him and reels it in. Just one-on-one on the outside. They force you into those matchups, trying to get everybody in the run game defense.
Georgia Tech may have its best group of wide receivers since at least 2008. That's according to Coach Bud Preston. Get to the outside. Here's the pitch back to the quarterback. This is Zenon. And Zenon takes it down inside the 5 to the 4-yard line.
We talk about the unselfish play of all the players. Watch number 3 right here. Dennis Andrews stays with the block on Burris. That gets Zenon to the edge, and he almost shoves it in the end zone. It's the unselfish play of the guy not getting the ball. Whether it's Andrews or Snoddy or Zenon or Deion Hill, they all block so well on the perimeter to spree the other running backs.
Tim Byerly comes in at quarterback. We saw this before. He kept it for a touchdown. He's now the quarterback, and again runs around the right side and bulls his way close to that goal line. They'll mark him just short.
Arius Moore, the linebacker, the freshman, makes the play here. 58 Arius Moore is the guy that's going to slide off the block here. Let's see if he gets Byerly's knees on the ground. I'm not sure if the knee hit the ground there.
Byerly stays in.
The elbow's on the ground. It's not the knee, it's the elbow short of the touchdown.
Byerly quarterback sneak touchdown. He's got 2 touchdowns this afternoon.
Well, you talk about a statement opening drive to start the second half. Very similar to what they did to start the game, Tim. They just go right down the field and essentially shove it right down NC State's throat. And Byerly just on this quarterback sneak for the touchdown.
How about Tim Byerly? He could start for a whole lot of people, and here he is now playing behind Justin Thomas. But we saw him against Duke. He throws well, runs well, and manages that offense well.
Yeah, 6 feet, 215 pounds. That's why he's in the game. Obviously, Justin Thomas is the featured guy, but he's only 195 pounds. So Byerly, bigger body guy in that situation.
Extra point is good, so the separation continues. Georgia Tech continues to run away from him. Hungry like a wolf. 10:49 remaining third quarter. Georgia Tech big. ACC football is brought to you in HD by your local Tire Pros dealer. Win tires, wheels, and a trip for 2 to the ACC championship game at theacc.com/tirepros.
Well, Georgia Tech, you talk about sending a statement to start the second half, to come out and move the football the way they did. 8 plays, 75 yards, 8 up 4 minutes plus off the clock. Byerly punches it in for the 1, but this is an outstanding way of beginning the second half. That's exactly what Paul Johnson told Rachel he wanted to have happen.
Harrison Butker drives Nichols back by the goal line. He's bringing it. Well, he's not bringing it back to the 20. They stop him at about the 17-yard line after a return of 18. Well, that Duke-Syracuse game is getting interested. Let's check in with Tom and see what's happening.
Yeah, Tim, time for a Hardee's update. At the Dome, Duke and Syracuse, coach.
Syracuse uses the backs as misdirection. Kimball keeps it to the right. 1 broken tackle.
4th string quarterback in for the score, tied at 10 in Syracuse.
How about Syracuse? Scott Schaefer's team battling. It's a team that struggled this year. Tom and Tommy were talking about they're on their 14th quarterback, but you got to love the heart, Scott Schaefer and his team, the way they continue to battle against the Coastal Division champion of last year and the team that's leading it again this year.
Arch, meanwhile, here, Carter Finley, Georgia Tech's going to have to re-kick. They were offsides again. That's the second time today they've been offsides on the kickoff.
And Georgia Tech has done a really good job of covering kicks. They had one that got to the sideline that NC State was able to run out to about the 35. But other than that, Georgia Tech has done a nice job on this coverage scenario. This is an opportunity for NC State to get some good field position, but they need to block.
NC State, one of the youngest football teams in the country. Rosters loaded with freshmen and sophomores all the way up and down it. The majority of the team underclassmen.
Well, one of those freshmen, we talked about Jalen Samuels and what he does. May see him a little bit more here in the second half. We'll see. They've got a number of guys across the board that they'd like to get the ball in their hands.
So the Wolf is howling, and Harrison Butker comes back on for the kickoff. This is Nichols at the 4. Out to the 28-yard line.
We looked at Jacoby Brissett. We knew that this game was going to ebb and flow through how well the big quarterback played, and he had his moments. 215 yards of total offense. He's run the ball extremely well when they've caught Georgia Tech in man coverage. Here's a situation where he just willed his team in the end zone. He would not be denied, but he's made a couple of mistakes as well. This one resulted in a touchdown, and this strip and scoop and score by Neely resulted in a touchdown, but he's been resilient. Fights right back and puts him in field goal position at the end of the half.
First down, handoff. This is Days, just short of the 30-yard line, picks up 2. Yeah, we had those 3 turnovers in 35 seconds.
Let's listen to this hit.
Great sound, isn't it?
Yeah, it just, I mean, there's been some big hits, and Paul Davis brought the hammer there. You can see it firing him up, too. Anytime you defensive players, man, anytime you get a hit, it's time to jump around and pat people on the rear end. I don't know what the deal is.
That's what we're out there for. Second down and long. Play action. Brissett looks, throws it over the top. Has it complete and dropped. Days should have had it. He had it in his hands. It was a tough catch. Had it in his hands long enough, but bobbled it.
But then you got to make these plays, okay? This is a wheel route. It's really well designed by Matt Canada. He gets Days, his top receiver from the backfield out there. It's a tough catch, yes. Matt Days got to make the catch. If you want to make some plays, you got to make some catches. 5 times they've dropped the football for their quarterback, and to get any kind of rhythm offensively, you're going to have to make a tough catch or two. We've seen a couple of Georgia Tech players make a couple tough catches when they've had to. NC State's going to have to make some of those grabs.
No question about it. Brissett under pressure, and he had to throw that one rushed, and he's getting pummeled in the second. I mean, in the pocket.
He took a big shot there. Was slow to get up. Remember, it was the shoulder rib area on his right side that he hurt earlier.
Davis and McCourtis.
There comes the pressure from Davis. A little delayed blitz. Boy, he puts that helmet right in that rib cage area. Big hit, B.J. Davis. Back-to-back hits from him on this drive.
So Will Ballman comes back on to punt it away. This is a good one. Goldenbacks all the way up to the 20. Good coverage by NC State. So it's a 49-yard punt and a return of, well, maybe a half a yard. Fernandez got there first. Hillsborough Street starting to pick up. It's going to be a big Saturday night. It's homecoming in Raleigh. 42-16, Georgia Tech. They've run away since the first quarter. A couple turnovers certainly helped that, but they've been running very effectively and gashing this NC State defense.
Well, they have played the game on the NC State side of the line of scrimmage, and there you see Justin Thomas over 1,000 yards in his career running the football. There's been some pretty good quarterbacks that have run this offense.
Well, a lot of players. I mean, he's the 44th guy in Georgia Tech history to go over 1,000 yards. So he's in there with a lot of good players. Here's Thomas, and Thomas can run. Thomas, quickest, fastest, smallest quarterback Paul Johnson's ever had.
Well, the ground and pound today against NC State, and there you see it. And really, Tim Byerly's average of 1.3 yards because he's coming on the goal line. He's killing the team rushing average. But he has punched it in twice. 4 rushing touchdowns, and that's really what this offense is about. They still haven't gotten to their team average there. It's to 258 there on the bottom. They average 319 a game, third in the country.
Justin Thomas gets on that corner. He's scary for defenses. Here he gives it to Days, St. John Days.
Now, St. John Days we knew coming in would be the workhorse. He's been the workhorse the last couple weeks. 100-yard days the last 2 weeks, and he is not disappointed today. Run with power. They pitched the football to him, and he's been able to show some quickness and speed on the edge. And then, of course, the big play up through the middle, the 53-yard touchdown run really kind of got this thing rolling offensively for Georgia Tech. He's up 100, 150 yards now. That's his career high.
And we talked about Justin Thomas going over 1,000 yards for his career. St. John Days now over 1,000 yards for his career. So he becomes the 45th player in Georgia Tech history to go over 1,000.
You got a number of players that you have to defend, and that's who when Georgia Tech's playing their best football, you're just not sure who you got to stop. And North Carolina State, when we talked to their coaches yesterday, they said we want to defend this option game from the inside out. We want to take away the B-back, which is St. John Days, and make them run the ball to the perimeter. And they just have not been able to get that done.
Third down and short. Give it straight ahead. This is Days, and he's got the first down.
When you think about NC State, Tim, preparing for this offense, and there's been a lot of talk about, well, if you get time to prepare, sure, anytime you have more time and more reps, you're going to be better at something. Duke had 2 weeks to prepare. They found a way to get a win. Dave Doran's team had only 3 days to get ready for this offense, and they just have not matched the speed and intensity they bring to the table.
Our First and 10 is brought to you by YP.com. Even more powerful yellow pages. One app, one site. YP can do that. First down, Yellow Jackets. Thomas with the pitch. Gets it around the corner to Zenon, and Zenon with the big gainer. Another first down for the Yellow Jackets.
Let's have another huge block on the outside. Zenon that's going to free Zenon, but it's just the option to the outside and the speed of these A-backs to get to the perimeter. Watch the block number 3 out in front. There he is. Dennis Andrews, he had a key block in the first half. He gets another one presented to get the first down. They know they can leave some players unblocked, and Paul coaching his rear end off still. But they can leave people unblocked because of their speed to the perimeter. That was Brian Chamberlain, big left tackle he was talking to.
Around the corner they come again. This is Snoddy, and Snoddy's down inside the 35. Georgia Tech averages 37 points a game. They've already hung 42 on NC State this afternoon. That's the #1 ranked running team in the ACC and 3rd national.
Well, for Dave Doeren to try to stop Paul Johnson's offense, they've got to win on first down. Because we talked about how they want to stay on schedule with the chains. Giving up 8 yards on first down isn't going to get it done.
Quick pitch. Snoddy gets a block, cuts back on the inside, still on his feet inside the 25, down to the 23-yard line. Finally stopped by Jared Fernandez.
You know, you look across the board at these Georgia Tech runners. Snoddy came in averaging 9.3 yards a carry. You know, Tony Zinnin is averaging 7.2 yards a carry. Deon Hill 6'4". Bostic 6'2". I mean, they get to the perimeter and they've got great speed and they just break you down.
NC State shorthanded at linebacker. They've had injuries. They've gotten thin there. Now they're playing freshmen. And this time they catch Justin Thomas. They hit him low, they hit him high, and made him feel it. Drew Davis and Rodman Noel.
Boy, good play by Drew Davis to immediately get in Justin Thomas's face. He shows up right away. I'm a little unsure as to why Justin didn't pitch the ball. I think because Davis was in his face so quickly, he wanted to secure and take care of the ball. But an excellent job of Noel sealing the backside as well. So a pretty good play by 2 NC State defenders. And that's what you need to do on first down. They needed a play on first down. They got it right there.
2nd down and 15. Thomas to throw. Sets up the screen. Backside. And covered well. St. John Days had nowhere to run. Still picked up some positive yards.
Well, this play had a chance to be out the gate. Really a poor throw from Justin Thomas is what eliminated the play. And then, of course, the hustle of Drew Davis to get out there and be a part of the play. But so here's your opportunity now if you're NC State defensively. You force Georgia Tech into a difficult 3rd down situation, 3rd and long. This is not their comfort zone. They need to find a way to get off the field right here.
10th play of the drive coming up. 3rd down and 8. They're within field goal range. Thomas. Flag is down. There's going to be holding as Thomas throws it away. NC State on this series doing a nice job.
Well, if you're Dave Doeren, you might want to consider taking this penalty, even though it makes 3rd down again, to try to shove Georgia Tech out of field goal range. You can't afford to give up any more points.
10. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
So he's going to go and force Butker to try to knock one through here on 4th down. I only say that because, you know, you look at the scoreboard, 42-16, pretty good deficit. Maybe limiting the points might become a premium, so it's probably a tough decision, but he doesn't want to give Georgia Tech another opportunity to pick up the first down.
This has been the area where Harrison Butker has struggled this year. Just 1 for 5 from this distance. This is 39 yards. Butker has the distance, and the kick is good. So Georgia Tech hitting on all cylinders here this afternoon. There is a flag down. Flag right about the 23-yard line.
If it's offside, it's not enough for the first down.
Personal foul. Illegal contact on the snapper. Penalty is 15 yards. First down.
So they'll take the points off the board. First down for Georgia Tech.
Yeah, you're not allowed to pound on that center. Those guys are in vulnerable position. You got to, they put in some rules to make sure you can't take shots at those guys. A lot of times those are smaller players. Let's see if we can see if there's anything around the Georgia Tech center.
Watch for Sean Tobin right in the middle, the long snapper.
So the score remains Georgia Tech 42.
The flag was thrown right there by the umpire who was standing right behind the play, so something happened. that he deemed a personal foul penalty.
Tobin ended up on his back, so it looked like they ran right through him. Matt Connors comes into the ball game now as your fullback. He's your ball carrier, cuts to the outside. He's inside the 5. Matt Connors, a 6 foot, 205-pound redshirt senior.
Matt Connors doesn't look the part either. 6 feet, 205, as you mentioned, Tim, but he's a guy that looks a lot like Zach Lasky did when Lasky kind of started doing these kind of things. Lasky is a long, lanky guy, and Connors is that same way. He's got good feet, steps out of tackles.
Connors slides up behind Thomas. Here he is again, right side, touchdown, Georgia Tech. Matt Connors with his 2nd touchdown of the year from 3 yards out.
Got in behind the All-ACC guard, Shaq Mason, and he road graded the area for Connors. Watch 70 come off the ball here, just create the push up front. In fact, there's 70 falling into the end zone and falling in behind Matt Connors for the touchdown.
So the Yellow Jackets have almost a half 100. It's almost time to wave the white flag. And the extra point gives them 49. 3:23 to play in the 3rd. We'll be back after a word from your local ACC stations. Is the only official source for tickets, VIP hospitality, and travel packages to the Dr. Pepper ACC Football Championship. Via VIP. Get your tickets today at primesport.com. What a great weekend that is in Charlotte. Look at that Coastal Division race, Archie. It's been up for grabs all year.
Well, Duke is in a complete fight right now with Syracuse in the 4th quarter, tied 10-10. Virginia Tech, North Carolina will not be easy out. Wake Forest played great against Clemson. Well, I'll tell you what, big one next week in Florida State, Miami as well.
This is the college football stretch run. They're going to bring it out, looking for blockers, trying to get to the outside. Nichols is across the 20. Very, very dangerous.
Timmy, look at the Seminoles, number 2 in the country in the football playoff poll, and they got Virginia today. Virginia reeling a little bit. We know they have the ability to play some defense, but Miami obviously looming. We saw Miami last weekend. Miami has the week off, getting ready for the Seminoles to come down to South Florida. Boston College comes into town. Of course, their longtime rival Florida comes in at the end of the season. But that Miami game next Saturday has a chance to be pretty good.
Yeah, no question about it. As a matter of fact, this college football stretch run the last 3 or 4 weeks is going to be fantastic. Brissett carries it, not much there. But these weeks, great drama, not only in the national picture for the playoff bowl selection committee, but the ACC crossover games like this one and the division games especially.
Well, this is the first time Georgia Tech has seen NC State since 2011. And talked about the unfamiliarity, the lack of familiarity with the coaching, new coaching staff obviously here at NC State. Georgia Tech coaches really didn't know what they were going to get today on the NC State coaching staff.
Brissett drops, throws, and incomplete. Yeah, Georgia Tech has won 6 of the last games, 6 of the last 8 games in this series. And you're right, they haven't played that much, only 27 times in their history since 1918.
Just 2 times since 2007 has Georgia Tech played North Carolina State. And in those 2 games, they split, each team winning on the other team's field. But today, Paul Johnson's team has controlled the show.
2:36 remaining in this period. Brissett again to throw. We'll see a lot of this now, but it's well defended. And what a game by DJ White. He has been terrific all afternoon working on David Greenidge.
Well, you try to get the big tight end at 6'6" against the defensive back, and DJ White, as you mentioned, Tim, has been outstanding. As the interception return for a touchdown, playing with a lot of confidence, and he's a kid that we talked about him at the beginning of the broadcast. He's probably the premier guy when you talk about coverage guys for Georgia Tech. He showed up today.
So Will Ballman comes back onto the field for NC State to punt it away, and Jamal Golden standing at the 30-yard line. Tech should get good field position here. He'll fair catch it at the 35. So not the best day for Bowman. That's a 39-yard punt. Country music artist Thomas Square and Chase Rice will headline ACC Fan Fest, presented by AT&T. That'll be December 6th. Get your game tickets now and don't miss the free event held outside Bank of America Stadium prior to the ACC Football Championship game. Visit theacc.com for tickets and details for everything taking place that weekend.
Well, it's an event. It's not just a one-day scenario. It's 3 solid days of a lot of fun in Charlotte.
Byerly hands straight ahead. Absolutely nothing there. NC State's defense closes it down. Gets a yard and a half.
St. John Day's out of the game. Matt Connors now becomes the featured guy at the B-back spot. He scored the touchdown on that last drive. But Justin Thomas, job well done today at quarterback, making the decisions in the triple option attack, and then when forced to or taking the opportunity to throw the ball one-on-one on the outside was very good.
Second down. Byerly keeps it. And that'll bring up third down in medium range. B.J. Hill with the tackle. Paul Johnson's been stuck on 7 wins the last several years. Today he goes over that. He has Virginia Tech, Miami, Clemson, and Georgia the past several years that have tormented him. Now they've combined for a 15-1 record over that period last couple of years. But they beat Virginia Tech, they beat Miami, they play Clemson next week, and then Georgia at the end of the season. So it looks like he's climbing over the hump. Ball was dropped but recovered by Corey Dennis.
Completion and a fumble. I'm not sure he completed the catch. Did he complete the catch? Corey Dennis runs the hitch house and he completes the catch and makes the... I'm not sure he ever secured the football. I'm sure that's what Dave Dorn said.
Final 45 seconds of the third period. Matt Connors goes across the line of scrimmage for 2, and then a flag is down in the backfield. Flag's all the way back at the 45-yard line.
Illegal motion, offense number 86, 5-yard penalty.
Let's go to Charlotte, check in with Tom and Tommy.
Tim, it's a Hardee's update. Duke and Syracuse in the fourth quarter. Anthony Boone is intercepted. Brandon Reddish makes the play. First turnover of the game for Duke. 10-10 at Ernie Davis Legends Field in Syracuse.
Remember,
wow, how about that?
Remember, Anthony Boone 17-1 as a starter in the regular season for Duke as the quarterback, so he has been tough to beat.
First down and 15 for the Yellow Jackets. Straight ahead, Matt Connors. They'll let those seconds tick away and end the third quarter.
Well, I think it's, obviously, Paul, look at that fumble and not like that, but that's pretty good right there. Start putting points on the board.
And that'll bring us to the final 15 minutes of this game. Georgia Tech dominating NC State. Paul Johnson coaching like it's a playoff game. We'll be back.
Georgia Tech leads. Let's talk about the A game. St. John Day's brought his 157 yards and a touchdown. But defense has shown the day today for Georgia Tech. Quayshawn Neely, a scoop and score, 6 tackles, has an interception, fumble return for touchdown. Paul Davis always brings his A game, 9 tackles in the middle. And how about DJ White on the outside, 7 tackles and the interception return for a touchdown. And Tim, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention this big offensive line. 329 yards of rushing today for the number 3 rushing team in the country, and they have brought their A game too.
Yeah, good point, Arch. They've been firing out and controlling the line of scrimmage all day. Here's Byerly, takes it around the corner, and he's got another first down for Georgia Tech. We'd be remiss if we didn't say that Dave Doran's team was shorthanded linebacker. He's got 2 freshmen in there who have been playing well, but they lost linebacker Tyler Linton. He injured his knee as soon as he got here. He was a talented freshman, and then, of course, Salahuddin, who really played in there. MJ is out. He's got that knee problem. So
MJ Salahuddin, who was going to be their featured guy in the middle, they lost him early and has been out. So they lost him in fall camp to a knee injury. He'll be back next year for him. But a lot of play time for these young players.
First down and 10. Around the corner they go. Close to another first down. Nigel Willis, the ball carrier. Our third quarter stats are brought to you by the North Carolina Education Lottery. This year, North Carolina Education Lottery will contribute more than $500 million to meet North Carolina's education needs. Learn more at nc-educationlottery.org.
Well, Jacoby Brissett's done some good stuff. Remember, he had 215 yards of offense at halftime. 2 yards in the third quarter. Georgia Tech's defense shut the door.
Here they go straight ahead with the dive to Matt Connors. Connors getting a pretty good workout here in the second half. Picks up 7. Duke and Syracuse have been in a good old-fashioned Donnybrook all afternoon. Let's go back to Charlotte and check in with Tom.
Yeah, Tim, time for a Hardee's update of the fourth quarter. Syracuse punting from its own end zone. The problem is Jamison Crowder fields that punt, and he finds a seam.
Oh, you tell your punt returner, can you get me 10 yards? Can you get me 1 first down on the return? He does more than that.
He goes 52 yards on the return, 17-10 Duke in the fourth.
And Duke in complete control of their own destiny now as we go down the stretch here in the Coastal Division.
Well, can you say player of the year in the ACC? Jamison Crowder is one of those guys that has to have his name attached to the talk about that scenario. And how about coming up big when his team needed him the most? A big punt return for a touchdown.
Not so fast, my friend. Don't forget Duke Johnson.
Well, I'm just saying he threw his name. His hat has to be in the ring now. Jameis Winston, James Conner, Duke Johnson.
Round the corner they go. This is Willis again. And Willis starting to get carries here down to the 12. Picks up 11 yards.
I'll tell you, another guy needs to deserve to be talked about a little bit, and that's that quarterback up there in Chestnut Hill, Tyler Murphy, getting it done.
Personal foul. Illegal block below the waist. Offense number 50. 15-yard penalty.
Watch Andrew Marshall, number 50. Left side, there he goes.
Yeah, dove into that lower half. Good job by the officials to see that, get that call.
Isaiah Willis has gotten a couple carries with Georgia Tech now, the 5'9" running back from Marietta, Georgia. He would have been a hide-and-seek ball carrier. This is Byerly around the left side. Byerly's inside the 15.
Now, Byerly is, you mentioned it, Tim, he just fits right in. Now, he doesn't have the great speed that Justin Thomas has, but he still has really good decision-making within the scheme of the offense and is an excellent passer as well. So Byerly, a nice guy to be able to bring in, especially on the goal line, but nice guy to be able to bring, as we saw against Duke. He came in and rallied the team for a couple scores late in that game.
First down, Georgia Tech. Matt Connors again inside the 10, down to the 8. Let's go down to Rachel.
Guys, we covered this Georgia Tech team back on October 11th when they lost to Duke. And I remember talking to Paul Johnson then. Talked about his team. He said, we're resilient. Nothing much seems to affect us. We don't panic. We just keep playing. He said, but I would like to get to the point where we don't get behind and we keep the chemistry going and have fun. And guys, I think they've done that today.
Yeah, no question about that. And they get their 8th win.
Yeah, it's a huge win for them. It sets the table now for a huge game next weekend with Clemson coming to town.
Here's the give to Connors again. He's inside the 5 as he continues to roll down to the 4.
Well, I would think that Grant Field, historic Grant Field, will be at fever pitch next weekend as Paul Johnson and Georgia Tech host Clemson coming in. We'll be right here in the triangle again as we come back to Chapel Hill as James Conner, the Terminator, comes in to take on Marquise Williams and the North Carolina Tar Heels.
Georgia Tech's finish, as Mark said, next Saturday against Clemson, and then the 29th at Georgia. Byerly keeps and rolls around to the right. Gets down to about the 3. T.Y. McGill got good penetration.
Yeah, T.Y. McGill in the 10. We just have not mentioned those guys' names enough, Tim.
Illegal formation, 5 players in the backfield offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
They got a few different players in the game. Corey Dennis on the field, didn't play a ton. Isaiah Willis is in the game as well, one of their young backs. It's going to be the next generation of A-backs here. Kid out of Lassiter High School, good player.
Good to see T.Y. McGill back in the NC State lineup. Came through that A-gap. 3rd down and 6. The pitch around the left side and touchdown. Broderick Snoddy. Another flag is down.
There is a flag on the play.
They got a great block from Bostic, but an illegal block on the inside, I believe. Remember, you can't go outside and block back to the inside below the waist. Let's see if that's what this is.
Holding, offense number 77, 10-yard penalty, 3rd down.
77 is Thomas O'Reilly.
Thomas O'Reilly, a big versatile guy, could play guard, center. Transferred in from Auburn. Right here on the south side. Had to reach in for the cut block, and when he didn't get the defender on the ground, kind of wrapped the arms around the left leg, it looked like, and O'Reilly gets flagged for that and calls back the touchdown. Good, really negated a great block by B.J. Bostic on the outside that got Georgia Tech in the end zone.
O'Reilly now jumps to the right side. 3rd down and 13. Byerly throws into the end zone. Touchdown, Georgia Tech. Oh, what a great catch by Messick in the end zone of 16 yards. Well thrown by Byerly and a great catch.
Antonio Messick lined up bump and run coverage on the outside, and Byerly realizes the defender's not looking back, so he just puts his big receiver up the bat. And Messick really makes a great catch, a contested catch in the end zone for the touchdown. What an excellent effort. And a good recognition by Byerly to understand the defender was not looking for the football.
Boy, he reached over and just pulled that thing away. Good snap, good hold, and the extra point is good. So another name heard here today. As the Rambling Wreck has everybody's attention, Messick pulls it in to make it 56-16. The legendary Reynolds Coliseum, a basketball palace. It was home to the men's basketball team here for so many years. It's now home to the NC State women's storied basketball team. But on February 16, 2007, the court was dedicated to Kay Yow in honor of the NC State women's basketball great coach. Still a great building here at NC State.
There's Antonio Messick, redshirt freshman wide receiver. His first catch as a Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket goes for a touchdown. Fayette County High School product, Fayetteville, Georgia. That'll be a memory he'll never forget.
This kick goes through the end zone. No return to bring it out to the 25. Let's go to Charlotte. Get the very latest from Tom.
Tim, it's a Hardee's update. Ross Martin, his 2nd field goal of the game. This is 34 yards, 20-10. Duke trying to win their 8th game of the season.
Wow. Boy, it's a resilient group. David Cutcliffe's team, for years, Tim, we would go and do Duke games, and they would find a way to get the game into the 4th quarter and just not be able to close it out. Now they're the team that does close it out as they just continue to win.
1st down and 10 at the 25. That's where this starts, and this is Shadrach Thornton.
Hey, look at this NC State offense, Tim, in the 3rd quarter when they really needed to try to climb back in this game. They had 20 first downs in the first half, none in the second half. In fact, only 6 yards of offense in the 3rd quarter for NC State. They did not answer the call.
Georgia Tech has definitely ruined homecoming, at least the game. I know when I was at Maryland, we lost some games, but we never lost a party. Boy, the defense continues to get after him.
Good play there by Tremaine McNair, the guy I talked about, made a big hit on special teams. He's actually still down on the knee. 46 McNair going to shoot through and really disrupt the run there, and a big hit at the back end of it. Excellent hustle play and big hit.
He comes off the field after that hit.
And Antonio Simmons with the big hit on the edge there.
Brings down 3rd and 6. Brissett steps up. He's hit from behind, but he makes the connection. This is Hines, and Bo Hines up across the 45 to the 47-yard line.
Good pressure again by Antonio Simmons, but a good job of Brissett to stand in and find his #1 receiver, Bo Hines, the freshman.
Boy, he's a good-looking receiver, isn't he?
He really is, and it takes something. It's one thing to play outside the numbers all the time. It's another thing to slide inside the slot, understand coverage, find the dead areas, be able to beat man coverage. Bo Hines can do all that.
Hines now has started 7 games for the Wolfpack. Set throws again. He's got a man. He's open at the 30. Down inside the 25 goes Braylon Cherry. Cherry's inside the 20. Lance Austin stopped him there, but it's a pickup of 35 yards.
Good strong throw by Brissett on this deep bench route. He's going to bend to the outside out of the slot area. Corner followed the post route to the inside, and good strong throw from Brissett.
These are the most points Georgia Tech has ever scored in this series against NC State. And the Wolfpack not ready to give up yet, trying to get some more points on the board. Here's the sweep. Samuels inside the 15. He's a good-looking freshman, 5'11", 240 pounds. Jay Sam, they say every time he touches the ball, something good happens. And we saw him turn it over earlier, chase down the ball carrier about 50 yards down the field, get it back.
Hustle play. You look at his high school career as a senior, Mallard Creek High School in Charlotte. He ran for 1,400 yards and 39 touchdowns. He averaged 12.9 yards a carry. He also caught 49 passes for 16 more touchdowns. Scored 55 touchdowns his senior year.
Creasy and Days both in the ball game. And that play was bad from the start.
5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Well, as you continue to get better as an offense and drive Dave Doeren crazy, the little mental errors, the mistakes, there you got a good 1st down play to get you to 2nd and 5, which is where you want to be if you're Matt Canada, the offensive coordinator, calling the plays, and then you get a penalty and backs you up now 2nd and 10 and puts you behind the chains. These are the things that Dave Doeren's trying to get his team to learn and overcome.
But Art, you played on every level. Youth usually means or is synonymous with inconsistency, and they've got 51 true redshirt freshmen. Touchdown NC State. What a great catch. Greenidge with his 4th touchdown catch of the year.
Well, Matt Canada dug into his playbook here a little bit, and they came with a strange formation where they split the tackle out wide, tried to spread Georgia Tech out a little bit, and then got Greenidge right down through the middle. And how about the strong hands at the end to finish? As Griffin came in and as Austin came in to try to swat it out of there, Greenidge finishes the play with the squeeze and the touchdown.
Extra point is good. And so Greenidge, the sophomore from Newark, Delaware, keeps his name in the John Mackey Award hunt. 56-23. 4 points for the Wolfpack. 7:05 remaining in the ball game. We've had the most touchdowns ever scored in a game here at Carter Finley Stadium, and Georgia Tech just a couple of points away from the highest score ever recorded in Carter Finley Stadium, this being the 300th game ever played here at Carter Finley.
Well, there's one of the young guys that defenses across the ACC are going to have to defend for the next couple of seasons. That's David Greenidge, that tight end. That made a nice play down the middle, and he'll be a big featured part of what Dave Doeren wants to do moving forward.
Nicholas Sadie gets ready to kick off. Jamal Golden still looking for that big return today. He'll let this one go right through the end zone. Duke starting to run away from Syracuse. Let's check in with Tom back in Charlotte.
Yeah, Tim, it's a Hardy's update. Duke and Syracuse in the fourth. Anthony Boone lofts it up to Isaac Blakeney, hauls it into the end zone. Second TD grab, 54 yards, 27-10. Duke in front.
Wow. Duke just finds another way to get it done in the fourth quarter.
That'll move Duke to 4-1 in the Coastal Division, 8-1 overall. What a job David Cutcliffe has done in Durham. First down, Yellow Jackets. 7:05 remaining in the ball game. Kept by Byerly, and Byerly makes some yards out of what looked to be a blown-up play.
Well, just the epitome of making the right decision. And that's the triple option for you. And Byerly just ran the second part of that triple option to perfection. He reads the play, the fullback's taken away, he pulls it and steps around and picks up a nice gain on first down. And that's where it's really tough to be right unless the guy that's in charge of the quarterback's on the spot as well.
Second down and 5. Georgia Tech now over 400 yards rushing in this game. And they continue to add yards to it. Matt Connors picks up 4 yards.
Coming into this game, NC State had run through a gauntlet of teams. Tim, they had that murderer's row, if you will, of teams. Clemson, Florida State, Louisville were in that middle section, and they lost those games. But there was a measure of confidence gained by some of the game. There's no moral victories. But their game against Louisville, they felt like they gained some ground as to who they need to be moving forward. This will be a little bit of a setback for them here against Georgia Tech, but I think that Dave Dorn feels like he's got it going in the right direction. He's got a lot of good young players on the field.
Tim Byerly picks up the first down. The ACC is giving you a chance to live the sweet life at the football championship game. That's in December. Win a luxury suite for you and 9 of your friends, along with field passes, Night of Legends tickets, and a travel voucher. Enter today at the ACC.com/sweetlife.
Nothing decided, Tim, in the Coastal. Duke gets it done, stays on top. Georgia Tech right on their heels. Miami right on their heels. Nobody can slip up.
Well defended by NC State. Tim Byerly with another good decision. He picks up 5. Brandon Pittman made the tackle. He's the senior from Raleigh, North Carolina.
There's Mike DeGeorge right there. Mike does a great job with as the sports information guy at Georgia Tech, talking to St. John Days about who's going to interview him after the game.
Here's the pitch around the corner. This is Bostic looking for a block and almost found the crease. It's another first down for the Yellow Jackets.
Well, whenever you play Georgia Tech, you better get ready to defend the running game, and it's going to be a myriad of players coming at you. Justin Thomas, who runs this show, got the early touchdown. St. John Days, who had a monster day, a career day, 150 yards rushing. But it's Tony Zinnon, it's Broderick Snoddy. Here comes Tim Byerly, the other quarterback. I mean, just a myriad of players coming at you running the ball. 415 yards rushing the football today for the number 3 rushing team in the country.
Byerly keeps. How about this stat? When Georgia Tech runs the ball 60 or more times, they're 18-1 in ACC games under Paul Johnson. 3-0 this year. They had 65 against Miami, 63 against Pitt, 63 against Virginia. They have 58 right now and 56 points on the board. So if they go 60 runs or more in a game, they do not lose. Of course, the defense helped them out today, but still the stat looks like it will hold with 3:42 to play in the game. Here's the keep by Tim Byerly again. How about his decisions? Out in the open field, has a blocker, goes over the tackler, and a flag comes in at the 10-yard line.
Yeah, it looks like Corey Dennis maybe called for a illegal block there at the end of the play, but it's the same play where they pull the backside 2 offensive linemen to get the quarterback out in a counter play.
Illegal block in the back. 16 offense. 10-yard penalty. First down.
This is the play where they pull the backside guard and tackle. It's a little counter play, and the quarterback's the runner all the way. And here's the penalty at the bottom of your screen. There's the little push in the back by Corey Dennis that drew the flag. But Georgia Tech just continues to rack up the yards. And how about the athleticism of the junior transfer quarterback, Tim Byerly.
He's impressive. Now, you're over there in Atlanta, and I know you saw him in the spring. They said he probably managed this team about as well as anybody, probably the best on the roster.
Yeah, he does an excellent job with the offense. He just doesn't have the explosive ability that Justin Thomas has, but he's got the package that Paul Johnson wants.
Well, Thomas, the quarterback, has so much giddy up. He won the Alabama High School 100-meter dash as a senior. He gets that corner. He is unbelievable, but he too makes good decisions on that option. St. John Days comes back into the ball game. St. John Days had the big first half. Matt Connors had his helmet taken off, so he comes out for a play.
St. John Days probably had to do his shoulder pads back up. He had the straps undone. He wasn't coming back in.
Days, 19 carries, 157 yards and a touchdown. Right? He thought he had the evening off. This is Bostic around the left side. Hey fans, the rivalry challenge is heating up on the ACC Football Challenge app. NC State, 76% of their fans have an edge over the Georgia Tech fans. Download the ACC Football Challenge to get in the game. Secure victory for your team in today's matchup. 10 hours left to get your vote in. Make it count. Connors comes back in, puts his hat back on.
Georgia Tech had a pretty good following. We had a number of people from Atlanta coming up to watch the game. They got a nice group of fans that followed the Jackets up here to watch them play here at Carter Finley.
There's Connors again, down to the 5. Squeezes his way inside the 5 before they push him back. Under 2 minutes to play. Well, next Saturday we'll be back here in the Triangle. We'll be right down to Chapel Hill. See the Tar Heels as they continue to try to get things done. They need 2 wins to become bowl eligible.
Yeah, it's a huge game for them, but they've got the Terminator coming to town. James Conner, 263 yards rushing a week ago. And he leads the nation in rushing. That'll be a heck of a battle.
Looks like NC State's going to have to wait to become bowl eligible as well. Needed a win here today, and they got flat out spanked.
Well, Georgia Tech now casts their eyes to next Saturday in a huge game for the Jackets as the Clemson Tigers, who survived on Thursday night against Wake Forest, will now come into Atlanta and take on Paul Johnson's team. And I think Paul's got to feel like they're about as hot as they've been. You know, started the season 5-0, lost a couple in a row, and they're playing some better defense the last 2 weeks.
Byerly is hit hard. He had made good decisions, but that time he pulled it back out and got drilled.
There's a little pride in those red hats now. They don't want another touchdown put on the board, and big hit at the back end of that on Byerly.
Ernie Robinson gets credit for that tackle. He might get some applause in the tape room when they watch the video. A loss of 2. Final 6 seconds ticking away here. And the clock goes to 0, and that'll end it. So the game is over. The final score, Georgia Tech 56, NC State 23. We'll be back after this, the 300th game. Carter Finley not happy for the Wolfpack.